Thank you for staying on. This is Current Agenda. Is brought to you by NPM Bank of Africa. I am Altiti Saida Sadiq. Let's do our reflections for this morning. Now, nationwide cleanup exercise must not be a 9-day wonder. That's what we're talking about. The nationwide cleanup exercise that's yesterday and today initiated by the President John Dramani Mahama is a commendable step toward tackling one of Ghana's longest and biggest issue, most persistent challenge, which is poor sanitation. The recent flooding in Accra, which claimed lives, destroyed property, and, displaced families, is a very painful reminder that sanitation is not just about tidying our surroundings. It's also about public safety, environmental protection, and really national development. But, the success of this initiative will not be measured by how many brooms, were used over the weekend or how many drains were desilted in 2 days. A true measure lies in whether it becomes a sustained national culture, not another short-lived campaign. And you may shudder to agree with that. It must not be a 9-day wonder at all. President Mahama's proposal to dedicate 1 day every month to the nationwide cleanup exercise is welcome. Yet monthly exercises alone will not solve Ghana's sanitation crisis, right? They must be backed by strict enforcement of environmental laws and long-term planning. So a major driver of flooding is the indiscriminate building on waterways, wetlands, and Ramsar sites we've discovered. These natural ecosystems are meant to absorb excess water, that's rainwater, and their destruction has left flood waters with nowhere to go except into people's homes and businesses. Now, government must therefore demonstrate the political will to remove all these illegal structures obstructing the waterways, and regardless of ownership of these structures, they must go down. When lives are at stake, there can be no sacred cows. At the same time, authorities must begin reclaiming degraded wetlands and Ramsar sites that have, reforestation, ecological restoration. It must be important to us. Protecting these natural buffers costs far less than repeatedly responding to flood disasters. Plastic pollution is another urgent concern. Plastic waste continues to choke drains and waterways across the country. And we know this, you and I, don't we, that Ghana must consider stricter regulations on single-use plastics, promote biodegradable alternatives, and invest in recycling industries that can create jobs while protecting the environment. Metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies, we agree they must step up because building regulations should be enforced without compromise. Unauthorized developments must be stopped before construction even begins, and not after the disaster has struck. Effective physical planning is critical if our cities are to grow sustainably. Now, waste management as well will also definitely need urgent attention. Many communities lack accessible and properly managed dumping sites, forcing the residents to dispose of the refuse in drains, on vacant land, and in water bodies. Governments should establish dedicated waste disposal facilities nationwide and expand the waste collection services because if we invest in recycling and segregation systems, this will be the best way to go. Government, however, cannot do this alone. Every Ghanaian has a responsibility to keep the environment clean. Littering in gutters, open spaces, and streams must become socially unacceptable. Our schools, our religious institutions, traditional authorities, market associations, and the media all have a role in promoting environmental sustainability and responsibility, and also shifting public attitudes in Ghana. A clean environment, you agree, is not achieved through occasional exercises. It requires consistent action. responsible citizenship, and strict law enforcement. Because if Ghana is serious about, preventing the devastating floods that we see in the future and protecting lives and property, this nationwide cleanup campaign must evolve into a permanent national movement that we all are part of. The time for symbolic gestures has passed. What Ghana needs now is sustained commitment, decisive enforcement, and a collective determination to keep our communities clean every day, not only when the disaster strikes, all right? That's our reflections for today, ending the perennial flooding. You and I collectively, it's a responsibility. Today marks day 2 of the cleanup exercise instructed by the President of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, and we will be taking part. People across the country have been taking part, residents, MMDCEs, and the regional coordinating councils alike, and Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has been bringing you all the live footages of these happenings. Yesterday, the President and the Vice President, that's the Gamanch as well, at the Che Ado area in other parts of the capital, joining in that cleanup exercise to show leadership by example. And so these and many more we'll be discussing this morning on Current Agenda. Do stay with us. We're live across the board on our regional radio stations. So Radio Ghana everywhere. You can listen to us live online at GTV Ghana. We're streaming there. Our website, gbcghanaonline.com. I am Multi T. We're back with the show. Do stay.
From the heart of Africa we stand, building dreams across the land. Every step we dey your side, helping you rise, taking you higher. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. BOA, we go there for you night and day. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher.
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
Stay back and stay safe. The National Petroleum Authority is cautioning the public to desist from scooping or fetching fuel from overturned fuel tankers at accident scenes. Do not get closer to the scene in an attempt to take videos or pictures. Inhaling the petroleum product is detrimental to your health. Worst of all, petroleum products are volatile and highly flammable, and a small spark can trigger a catastrophic explosion, causing deaths and loss of property. Call the Ghana Fire Service or Ghana Police personnel to handle the scene, or reach the National Petroleum Authority's contact center on 0302 550 380. Your life is worth more than a gallon of fuel. This Save a Life campaign is from the National Petroleum Authority.
President John Mahama has demonstrated his commitment to post-flood recovery by personally participating in the 2-day national cleanup exercise he directed following the recent floods that affected 7 regions of the country. The president began the exercise at Chado near Tashi, where he joined residents, security personnel, government officials and sanitation workers in cleaning the environment. He desalted gutters, inspected drains and assessed the major drainage channel where part of a structure has been built within a water course.
I mean, we've just desalted this. Look at the plastics that we are taking out of it. Apart from that, the sand there clearly did not happen in 1 year. It means this has been silted for so many years. So it reduces the capacity of the drain to carry water. And in the past, when we do cleanups like this, we fetch the silt, we put it by the roadside, and then leave it there. And then when it rains, it washes it back into the drain. And so in this exercise, let's make sure that after we take all this silt out, we bring enough capacity to be able to transport this silt and go and dump it somewhere appropriate.
The president later proceeded to Alajo, where together with the Gamanche, Ni Takite Kochu, the Minister for Finance, and other senior government officials, he inspected sections of the Odo River to assess the impact of the floods and the drainage situation. The president reiterated government's commitment to implementing lasting flood mitigation measures.
Today is day 1, tomorrow is day 2. I want to thank the armed forces, the security services, the traditional rulers. We have Nigan here with us, and everybody who has come out to take part in this important national exercise. We're not going to be like the vulture who will say that when the rain stops, he'll repair his roof. And when the rain stops, he says, oh, but it's not raining, so there's no need to repair it. We've just worked this Alajo drain. It's part of the Odo stream. And there are 2 problems in it. There's silt, and then there's also plastics and household waste. You find in a drain like this, there are engine blocks. People discard an engine block and throw it in the drain. Old furniture, dining tables, everything you can find in that drain. And so, one, we must change our attitudes and stop the reckless dumping of things into the drains. The drains are not garbage instruments. 2 days are not enough to finish this work, but we're going to institute it so that at least 1 day every month, all of us should come out and clean our surroundings. That is what our traditional values were about. I'm also asking the Minister of Finance, he's already released 150 million to help with flood mitigation, that is the dredging of the streams and all that.
In a related development, President Mahama visited victims of the floods receiving treatment at the Mamobi Polyclinic and the 37 Military Hospital. He donated relief items and assured the patients of government's continuous support as they recover from the effects of the disaster. So, this is leadership by example, as demonstrated by President John Mahama participating in the 2-day cleanup exercise. The president is further urging all Ghanaians to go out to finish the entire cleanup exercise.
The Vice President joined hundreds of volunteers in the exercise, beginning at the Nungwa Market and Lorry Station, before moving through Kanda, the Presidency, the 37 Military Hospital area, and other ceremonial roads in Accra. The Vice President was joined on the cleanup tour by the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Madam Linda Akwile-Oklu, the Member of Parliament for Krowo, and the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namumulati, Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Ibrahim, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives, some officials from the Office of the Vice President, and other government officials.
I want to thank you all for coming out to help, because this is the time we should all show love. We should all support each other.
The managers of the escape container sites, the frequency with which they collect the waste from the sites, that's also a challenge.
So what does it mean? That you need more, you need less?
What the assembly does to augment, like I've said, is to use our big machines to support the evacuation. We also have a escape track. we use it also to support the evacuation.
It's all one this garbage is not helping them.
By evening, we'll see this one.
Evening? Yes. I'll come back. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Traders and residents appealed to government to provide protective and cleaning equipment to support their sanitation efforts.
We are digging the sand from the gutter. When the people sweep on the street, they pack sand. Instead of the assembly to come and pack the sand, they will leave the sand and the sand will go back to the ditch. And this is not fair because the big men, they will travel to Europe, they see how Europe is nice. Then when they can, they'll send their children to Europe, then they will go school over there. But they don't care about us. If you say you are a big man, come and make sure say the street is clean. The people are okay.
When there's a sanitation day like this, they have to provide us with the materials that we will use because we are doing it willingly because of it's our country. So they have to help us with the tools.
Responding to the request, the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of administration, Nanaoye Bampuado, assured them that government had made adequate provision for protective materials and cleaning equipment.
You can see I'm in gloves, sorry they are torn up, but we have provided some protective material. We hope it will be sufficient. You see we also got these gloves, so we're doing our best in the circumstances. I'm sure with the next round of the national cleanup, we will get more equipment and material, and we are calling on Ghanaians to also help us to get some material, especially to clear the sand along the road. I think that is has been a challenge, I must admit.
Every country is the leader that leads, and then sanitation helps. When you go to Dubai now, the Sheikh Maktoum, he's the leader. You go to Kigali, the President Kigali is the leader. So President Mahama is leading a very good cause, and we have to appreciate him for the bold step of leadership. He's somebody who's sanitation on his side.
The Vice President described the 2 days national cleanup exercise as a wake-up call for everyone to do the right thing at the right time. From Accra, Rachel Quarty reporting for GBC News.
You're welcome back. This is Current Agenda. We're live digitally on GTV Ghana, on Facebook, across the board, our website gbcghanaonline.com, and on radio near you, Radio Ghana, everywhere in the country. I am Altiti. This morning at the table, and who is present now, we'll be looking at the nationwide cleanup exercise. Today is day 2. What was day 1 like? And then we'll look at what day 2 poses to do this morning. The table is Ross Osewusu Esquire, his spokesperson for Local Government and Decentralization Committee, a member of the MPP's Legal Directorate as well. Lawyer Wusu, good morning to you.
Good morning, Titi.
Hope you're well. I'm well.
Yes.
We're alive and we're here.
Yeah, we are alive.
Back again.
Except that I'm not so happy coming to the studio this morning.
Tell me, what happened?
At the Opebia intersection, the traffic light, I saw this young boy between the age of, I think, 5 and 6 years, who has this medical condition and passes to from one side of his stomach, and it was a very moving situation. And I think there is an elderly person who is soliciting for funds for a surgery to be undertaken.
Okay.
So I'm just appealing to all the commuters that are applying that route, that in case they chance upon this person, they should willingly contribute towards the surgery. And I know the Ghanaian, that humanity in us, we will do a lot. Right. And I also want to take this opportunity to find out if our national health insurance arrangement caters for conditions of this nature. And if that is the case, this platform is a very huge platform. I think some sort of advocacy can be done on behalf of that poor boy.
We'll definitely look at it and see if we can follow through and understand what the condition is, and then expose it to the public and the health insurance scheme. But at the table as well this morning is Emmanuel Cotton. He is Executive Director, Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism. Cotton, good morning to you. Welcome back to the table.
Good morning, Martiti. And I want to associate myself with my good brother. That is what leadership is all about, you know, showing empathy and doing what you can do, and if it's beyond you, rallying support for such activity. I think the young man, he showed me the pictures. Probably if the producers could get it and highlight it, it could be the turning point for this young man. I think that you can never tell the future of anybody.
Right.
I remember in Nigeria when a young baby was dumped at the refuge dump, and a white lady came across the baby and rescued him, cared for him, and took the baby abroad. And when the baby graduated from university, it was a telling story. I think that every human being deserves an opportunity. Martiti, you know where we are coming from and our background. It's because of other people's benevolence we are sitting where we are today. So I think it's only proper that we become ambassadors of humanity and be able to give back to society. In essence, that is the true meaning of life, because any other thing on this earth is vanity.
Yeah.
So I want to really commend you. Many people pass by, they will not even look, and I hope your producers will get the pictures, and then we become ambassadors today for this young man. Maybe today God has purposefully made it that you will chance upon this innocent and child, and then we can showcase his plight. I know a lot of people will come to his aid. I know, Martiti, you have a foundation, right?
Yes, I have a maternal health foundation.
Yeah.
We try to get free surgeries for women with obstetric issues, maternal health, childbirth issues, yeah.
But this one is a young man. I think you can show humanity and extend a hand. Yeah.
I know some foundations that do free surgeries. I know Mercy Ships is coming to Ghana.
Yeah, no,
we have to understand the condition. And Okay, thank you, Koteng and Ross. You want to add something? Okay, thank you. And I'm sure, Ross, you send the pictures to my producers, and then we'll see how we'll pick it up definitely from there. This morning, my guests who will join me as well when they join, definitely with varied expertise. I mentioned in the intro that we have a planner, because we'll be looking at the flooding and the planning of our cities in Ghana, what the contributory factors are. But let's begin with the nationwide cleanup exercise that President John Dramani Mahama instructed should happen across the country. It wasn't a holiday as many were anticipating, but many shops, offices and businesses started their day around midday onwards because they joined in the exercise. And so today the exercise continues. GBC and Ghana Television will be bringing you live footages across the country on what's happening in our programming so that you can follow through. Yesterday, Mr. Stan Dogbe, who is the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of operations, as you can see in your shot, with the President, John Dramani Mahama, the CEO of Jospong Group of Companies, also there as they were leading in desilting some choked drains and gutters in the capital around the Chado area. You saw the President himself in his gear, and you saw our fire officers, our prison officers, our military officers who were with him supporting the exercise. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Madam Linda Oklu, also there, Benoit Oklu, also in your shot. Choked drains, visibly, you can see. There's a very large drain at the Alajo area, where some dredging is expected to occur as well. President John Dramani Mahama commenting on the work that the people there were doing. There's still vehicles in the drains that were being brought out. That is the Chief of Ghana State as well in your shots, the Gamanche, joining the President to support him. The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, was also with her team around the Jubilee House area and they were doing some inspections and some cleanup exercise towards the 37 area as well yesterday. And so that's the president leading by example the exercise that he instructed across the country, because among many other things, flooding is caused by choked drains and gutters, impediments in the waterways as well. So let me come to the studio now and speak to my guest here. Ross, what do you make of, your expertise in the local government, or, the oversight that you have over that? How important was this day for us, or this exercise for 2 days?
I think the declaration made by the president is a very good and nationalistic one that every well-meaning Ghanaian have to support in one way or the other. And I'm particularly happy that driving around town yesterday and this morning, I saw a lot of Ghanaians willingly coming out in groups to undertake this activity. And it is really heartwarming that sometimes we can all agree as a people to do something that will further the cause of this country, especially when it matters most. We come together as a people to advance the cause of this nation. And I would like to seize this opportunity as well to express my gratitude to the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party for issuing that bold statement, calling upon all well-meaning sympathizers and supporters of the New Patriotic Party to join the call by the President of the Republic to undertake this exercise of national importance. But my worry a bit is that yesterday I realized that after the exercise, and in fact this morning as well, the debris, the garbage that were collected, especially from the gutters, were still at the shoulders of the road. And this is quite worrying, because if there is any major downpour, all these debris will be washed back into the gutters, and we'll still see some choked gutters around and all that. So I would ask the assemblies to make some facilities available to be able to collect these debris, because this is a very good exercise that has been undertaken, and Ghanaians have willingly come out. And in fact, this morning, it is still ongoing. So let us see a significant improvement in our sanitation situation. And I actually recommend that this should become a one-off thing. I think there's an arrangement of that sort already, yes, either first Saturday or second Saturday of every month, yes, and I think this should continue, and it is something that is very good for this country. And I think as a country we should have that national conversation to invest in the sanitation of this country, so that when we travel outside and see other countries and the way the countries look and very clean and all that, and we are happy to be there, I think we can do the same for our republic, and it is a good step to take.
Thank you. Ross, at the table this morning as well is our plan. I mentioned earlier on that he's joining the show and is going to give us expertise to understand how imperative planning our cities is. Percy Anna Bukari is a planner and president, Ghana Institute of Planning. Mr. Bukari, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the table. I'll give you time to settle. Let me go to Cotton. Cotton, what do you make of the National Day of Clean, or today and yesterday cleaning exercises?
Well, I think it's a very good call, but like I mentioned yesterday, it's much ado about nothing. After the 2 days, what is next? I think that it's an institutional problem that we as Ghanaians must address.
Okay.
It shouldn't take the president to declare 2 days of national cleaning after the flood before we do what ordinary we are supposed to do as conscious citizens of the country. Look, there are too many holidays in this country, and we don't quantify the economic effect to the state. Yesterday, for instance, all offices were closed because of duties as citizens we are supposed to do. And I don't think we should be celebrating mediocrity. We are serious people as a country, and these are things no one should whip and compel us to do. There are already days that were set aside for cleanup exercises across the country. But enforcement is a problem. If we don't enforce, how long will the president be declaring days like this before we do what we are supposed to do? And the second thing is what my friend mentioned. Look, driving around the Accra, right, yesterday, and this morning when I was coming here, most of the rubbish they removed from the gutters remains there.
But it's not part of the responsibility of taking the rubbish, to take the sand or whatever.
When you take it off, you should properly dispose it. Granted that it has even rained last night, everything will go back to the gutter. So what did we do? Right. And the whole place is stinking. A health hazard of a sort. And yesterday, the handlers of our president must be measured in the way they handle the first gentleman of the land.
Okay.
The videos you played, I'm a security analyst. I always look at things from the security point. The president didn't have any PPE. What examples are we setting to the rest of the world?
Okay.
So if the president himself was not in PPE, how do you expect ordinary Ghanaians to be in PPE?
Okay.
And look, we were exposing him to, and you see, after he collected, he even used his left hand to remove a plastic bag from the garbage. The next thing I saw was rubbing the same hand on his nose. What are we exposing our president to? It's very serious. I'm very analytical when I see stuff. So good thing he was doing, but we unnecessarily expose our president. And by so doing, we are exposing the country to international radical. They'll say, Ghana president will be involved in this without any form of PPE.
Okay, so hand gloves probably?
It's all, even no nose masks, nothing. And you remember when the flood came, our former vice president was in the flood without Warrington boots. And look, any serious or major opposition leader is a president in waiting.
Right.
And his welfare must be properly catered for. So in as much as I'm talking about our president, our former vice president also was exposed to the same thing. If you look at our feet, there are so many porous stuff there. And he was walking in a Warrington boot in that dirt. And you look at how we even manage our garbage disposal here. It was a health emergency. You go to resolve a problem and you go home carrying more problem upon yourself. And I think that we must enforce. And that enforcement must be non-discriminatory and swift if we want to get ourselves out of where we are. Otherwise, next year, June, we'll be here talking about the same thing. And the way we collect and dispose our garbage will have to be looked at. We need to set up factories.
Okay.
We need to set up factories that can convert our waste into something else. In the advanced country, it happens. Go to our landfill site, they are all full. And sadly, it's only one company sweeping from Accra to my holy city in Sabuba. How can that be? Let's open it up, decentralize it, empower more Ghanaian companies. Then we can employ more and give our team youth sustainable jobs.
Right.
We don't want the accusation Manasa Azuri and Zoom Lion have been on each other's neck for some time now over alleged corruption-related things when sweepers earn something very meager when what is paid to the company is so huge. So I think it's a good thing. Enforcement is the thing. And we as citizens, don't let people compel us to do what we are supposed to be doing in the first place. Look at Malaysia. Look at Singapore, Rwanda. You can't just deposit anything there.
Right.
And the thing is that when I was coming this morning, someone said me something very interesting. Look, we provide waste bins, don't we?
Okay.
Then in the night, we same Ghanaians will go and steal those waste bins. What kind of patriotism is this? We construct very good roads, then we allow these tipper trucks, these heavy duty vehicles, to come and destroy those roads. What are we talking about? So I think that we need to go back to the basis. If we have lost it, let's teach our children so that we'll be law-abiding citizens and know that when we talk of a state, we are the state. We are government. It's not the president or the ministers or the CEOs, they make government. They are only exercising those power on behalf of us. So we also have a role to play in here.
Thank you. But at the table as well, joining us this morning is Kwame Owusu-Danso Esquire. He's Chief Executive Lands and Mines Watch Ghana. He's a private legal practitioner as well. Kwame, good morning to you. You've been MIA on us.
Well, Titi,
what's going on?
That is so. That is so. Good morning to you. Even this morning, I have a very important engagement, but I could not afford to avoid my appearance on this platform because of the sacredness of it in my heart. I hold it in high esteem. So I need to.
Congratulations to you. It's 1 year of the show.
Absolutely, yeah, of course.
You've been formidable.
Were you here when
I wasn't here when you started, but I have contributed significantly and humongously to the progress of the show. And therefore, I cannot be taken out of the success story of the show. But let me seize this opportunity, as you rightly admitted. I have not been on any platform for some time now, and so I've not had the occasion to congratulate the Black Stars so gallantly for their display at the world stage. Unfortunately, we were kicked out very early. In fact, my hope was that we were going to go beyond the round of 32 and perhaps even get into the semis. Unfortunately, we didn't get there. But I still want to doff my hat out to all the gallant stars for representing the country, the nation Ghana. People may have their own disagreements with their performance, but I think that it wasn't that bad. There's more room for improvement. And the coach, Carlos Queiroz, I think he also exited too early.
Has he exited?
Well,
we were still hearing it's not exited. He was just.
I was telling somebody
because
that look,
3 months contract.
Beyond even the 3 months, I think we must retain him. Find some money.
4 months. Okay.
We should find some money and pay the guy. And get him to build a team. All right. And so Black Stars will be better. But let me also seize this opportunity to congratulate all Ghanaians for coming out of their homes and others staying in their homes and cleaning their environments, as we should. Cleanliness is next to godliness. And
I didn't ask, were you affected by the floods?
No, not at all. Fortunately, I wasn't, because I've decided to live far away from town. You know, sometimes when I ask people to come to my neighborhood, they say, "Oh, it's too far, it's too far."
But it's safe.
So it's far for the flats.
Right.
So, you know, but the point I want to make is that I want to thank Ghanaians for coming out. This was a show of patriotism. This was a show of respect for order, and it was a show of respect for the people who were affected by the floods. That it is a communal effort that we need to address some of these very teething but avoidable issues that we have in this country. All of us will not be in doubt at all in admitting that the floods that we've been experiencing, perennially so, is as a result of some decisions either on the part of state institutions or on the part of the citizens. And it is binary in the sense that as a government, any government at all, or as state institutions or parastatals, you are clothed with some authority to act. And your actions are that you ensure compliance or that you ensure the enforcement of law. And so if you renege on that authority that you've been given to ensure strict compliance and to ensure proper enforcement of the law, and there are any excesses, you will have to be blamed for it. And so over the years, you would notice that apart from when we were growing up, when we were younger, when we had tankers I just want to say tankers so people will remember. When we had tankers, where it was almost as if everybody was all of a sudden a good student or a good boy, you know, then you notice that there was some level of cleanliness in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our areas. And I remember back in the day, even when we were living, my dad was a police officer, so we were living in the police quarters. Even in the police quarters, the tankers people came. And anytime we heard them knock at our doors,
they suspected that the police people were not complying.
It was not even about that. They were just doing their job. They were doing their job, as the policeman would, as any other, you know, state, any other security agency would. They were also doing their job. Tankers. You know, and I remember we had this, you know, sometimes when they come and you had disposed of rubbish in a very bad way, people had to go and pick them up and put them under their beds, you know, in their bedrooms. Those were the only places they would not visit. But your hall, they will come. Maybe your bedroom, they will consider you small. But your hall, they would come. So it tells you that Ghanaians would comply if there's strict enforcement of law. And you see, we have this attitude of, what's the word I'm looking for? I struggle with this word, but it's a very simple word too. Entitlement. You see, our problem in this country, and I'm part of it, that Ghanaians, we feel too entitled. You know, haven't you heard of this, if you like, mantra, where people say that, if, for instance, those who are government workers, when they are driving government vehicles, and they drive anyhow, they drive rough, on rough roads, they don't take their time, etc. You ask them, but why are you driving like this? And they say, I buy a car. Haven't you heard it before? Oh, I buy a car there. You've heard it before. You live in police barracks and they don't paint the place. The policemen, they don't paint. You ask them, so I say, I buy painting. Similarly, when we introduced this concept of Zoom Lion, that was the beginning of our problems. And I've been very consistent in indicating that the problems of today, the filth that we are surrounded with or by, is as a result of the introduction of Zoom Lion. Anybody can quote me anywhere, take me anywhere, and let's take emotion. Let's remove emotions from the conversation. If you want to be very truthful, the reality is that when we introduced Zoom Lion, then the problem started. Hey, there's somebody who later. Where's the picture? I said Zoom Lion. That's when it started. Then people heaped, filth. And they say, oh, Zoom Lion will come and pick it. Zoom Lion will come and pick it. Forgetting that the issue of sanitary conditions or sanitation is not one that has to be dealt with purely on the basis of, if you like, private. Because look, and even our approach, we have not even zoned the country to say that every district assembly or every district, right, should have a dumping site.
Okay.
This is where the dumping site of this district is. This is where the dumping site of that municipality is. Right. We don't have it. So there's no proper spatial planning. So we have no zone. So people pick the refuse and they go and put it anywhere, especially those Aboboya guys.
So we missed it. We missed it from the beginning.
Recycling plant, we don't have it.
We missed it from the beginning.
So the point I'm making is that that was the beginning of our problem.
But can we lose sight of not putting a company responsible for cleaning or sweeping because we trust that Ghanaians will do it?
When Tankers was in operation, Ghanaians were doing it.
Because Tankers was there.
But that's the point I'm making to you. That's why I'm saying that we have a certain sense of entitlement. So for instance, and he says this, I got the same message that you got, that we will get pavements for pedestrians, but the market women will go and take over the place. Right. When you ask them to move, they'll say we won't vote for you. So in Ghana, our preoccupation is about winning the next election. We don't care about taking care of our country. Our country is like, your country is your mother. Your mother. Is that how you treat your mother? So it is just simply that people feel too entitled, and we have over-politicized every single issue in this country. Over-politicize. I'm saying politics is good, but don't over-politicize. And sometimes the over-politicization stems from extreme partisanship. Extreme partisanship. One to the extreme left, one to the extreme right. And we are left in the middle. All of us are confused in this country. All of us. There's no direction.
Including the left and right.
Everybody is confused. I'm telling you. There is no leadership. Ghana, we have suffered from anemic leadership from 1992 till date. Quote me anyway, I've said it. No proper direction. You cited Rwanda. Go to Rwanda. The president himself, and here with the greatest of the respect I can amass this morning, let me depart, veer away from the position held, albeit that his position may be true, that the president and the way he conducts, Paul Kagame does the same thing.
Okay.
And also he said that I think we have too many holidays. I think that's the point I actually want to make.
Yeah.
But in terms of the protective gears, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But the point about getting a day to clean the country, other countries are doing it, especially for young democracies.
Kwame,
so we already have it, but we are not enforcing it. We already have it. We are not enforcing it.
Now let me conclude on that. In fact, I actually now dealt with it. In my submission, but I just wanted to simply make the point that beyond the fact that there are institutional lapses, are also the fact that attitudinally we are deficient.
All right.
And that kind of drowsiness that we approach our activities with ought to change. The laissez-faire attitude, the fact that we always want to heap responsibilities on the heads of others, and then we go and sit somewhere and think that we are not part of decision making, is something that ought to change. We are equally responsible for how the environment would look. We are equally responsible in ensuring that tomorrow there won't be any floods. Finally, we have been able to desilt our gutters, our drainages, and whatnot. Now, the onus lies on the people who are mandated to ensure that all those debris, the refuse, whatever, which have been collected along the banks of the drainages are cleared. It is very important. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kwame. At the table this morning, making a return, I beg your pardon, Austin Kwabena Brackle Powers is private legal practitioner. Powers, good morning to you. You've been missed on the show. Kwame has been more frequent than you.
Is it a return match?
Congratulations to you. The show is 1 year as well.
Yeah, so I understand, and it's been fantastic, phenomenal. I think the show has been groundbreaking in its work, and you guys deserve the best of the kudos.
Absolutely. I will allow you settle, Paz, and I'll come to you on your take on sanitation. Let me come to Mr. Bukari, because planning at the heart of all of this. Let me pick your initial thoughts on, you're Ghanaian in the first place, and you definitely have thoughts on what's been happening from the devastating floods to how we're trying to tackle it now with cleaning.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to your cherished viewers. So on the National Sanitation Day, which we are currently on. Actually, it's a 2-day program. Yesterday is for the various institutions. Today they are going to continue with the markets and the big lorry parks and all that. So it's a very good call. My concern had to do with because we already have the first of every month, the first Saturday of every month. That was what we had, and that's what was being rolled out. But at times, once they do the first and second, then the steam goes down. I come from a constituency planning that we are actually seeing in all the 261 assemblies in Ghana.
Okay.
So we have planners across all the 261 assembly, development planners, fiscal planners, settlement planners, and all that. So once that directive came, we thought we should carry it through so that every first Saturday of every month we have these cleanup exercises. These cleanup exercises, if you institute a particular day and you create that awareness, we have what we call the behavioral change. Somebody will say we all worship God, but if you're a Christian, at least Sundays you know you are going, Saturdays you know you are going, Fridays for the Muslims. So we shouldn't get tired of the things we do because they are everyday things. So I really would want us to still institute the first Saturday of every month as the National Sanitation Day, and it is just a consciousness that we want to build. in ourselves. Okay. I think two of my panelists here have mentioned tankers and then Sama and all that. Yes, so when we were growing up, they were there. We all had experiences of these tankers and all that. So it means the system has degenerated along the line. Okay. And we've not had some of this. They are called the environmental sanitation workers in all the assemblies. So we just need to strengthen some of these.
Are they still there?
They are still there. Okay. They are still there, but the what we call the ubiquitous, the way we need to see them or operate, it's not that firepower. Yes, it's not there. So I think this is a wake-up call, and we should all embrace ourselves for this call and make cleanliness or cleaning our environment and our homes part of the national system or part of our way of life. Because from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you sleep, by washing your face alone, liquid waste. When you take the paste, you put it on, the water is going through a system, and you need to have that whole chain dealt with. I would say the entire sanitation value chain must be looked at. Some of them have mentioned it, and if I mention sanitation value chain, be it solid waste or liquid waste, immediately you discharge a liquid waste or a solid waste, you must contain it. So after containment, you need to transport it, and after transporting, you need to evacuate or dispose it off. Where are you disposing it off? And after disposing it off, you need to treat it or recycle it or waste to, I mean, there are so many ways of dealing with it. So the entire chain, the entire value chain, be it liquid waste or solid waste, is what must be dealt with. And over the years, especially our final disposal points have not really, we've not invested well in our final disposal point. And now we are all dealing with the landfill sites, but we know there are some that are within the areas, and we need to consciously develop them so that once you take, you know that either you are taking it from a transfer station or from a bin, you know that there's a final disposal point, and that final disposal point, is it enough looking at the rate at which we are generating? Yes, we are generating.
But how true is it that or the suggestion that we should have the final disposal points in every district closer to you, that we don't have just a few of them and they are all full, so you don't know where to take your rubbish to?
Okay, all right. So I don't go by anything you say district by district. Okay. One village, one town. I mean, you should everything. I mean,
but it's closer to the people, yes, isn't it?
But what I'm saying is that you cannot have a final disposal point in about 30 or 10 or 15 assemblies in Ghana. Okay. Ayawaso East. If you know Ayawaso East, if you know Ayawaso West, you can't have disposal points here. Ayawaso West, for instance, is made up of about 4 or 5 key communities: Jowolo, Abelenkpe, East Legon, Airport. And where are you going to have the disposal points? Is it
overly residential now?
Overly residential, and the land values are very high. So what we normally do is what we call a city master plan, both in Accra and then Kumasi and the big cities. And you would normally take the final disposal points because of land values and all that. You take it to the peripheral of the city, so that you can have the entire Gama area, and the entire Gama area has a sanitation plan, and they've proposed areas for treatment plants. Okay. So you would have areas. That's why we finally came out with one around Gan West, Amasaman area. Okay. We had one in Boom, and then we have also one towards the Gan South. That's the Wija Bawe area. Okay. Yes, and then if you move uphill, we know on the hills around Kwamonso from Manfe going towards Koforidua, there's also some there. We also have one on the Insawam stretch.
This is about 5 you're counting, you've mentioned.
Yes, so there are quite a number of them.
But still not adequate.
Yeah, they are not adequate. You see, what we can do is we can have transfer stations within the built-up areas. Transfer stations are when you collect it from the households or some key points. Okay. You can transfer them there. Then it is evacuated to the final disposal site.
Because it can be recycled there, the transfers.
Yes, okay. Yes, it's a whole system. All right. So what we need to do rather is invest in the final disposal point of our liquid and then our solid waste,
which is recycle as well. One of the very key. I will definitely come back to you to expatiate on the work that you're doing with planning and on all of that. But let me go to Zoom because we have an engineer on Zoom. Engineer Prince Kasavotre is Executive Secretary, Structural Subdivision, Ghana Institute of Engineering. Good morning to you, Engineer Prince. Kindly unmute yourself if you've not. Thank you for your time.
Am I audible now?
Right, you are audible. And let me pick your initial comment. We've had engineering problems and engineering solutions thrown in the fray of dealing with our devastating flooding, planning our cities and the capital as well. What are your initial comments on the President's directive for the cleaning, because our gutters are choked, our drains are impeded?
Once again, good morning to all your viewers and listeners, and then good morning to my fellow panelists, and good morning to you as well. And my thoughts on the sanitation day, I think as people culturally, we have inherent features of communal works. So on that front, I think the government putting a day outside to invoke this communal spirit in us is a step in the right direction. It helps solve part of our problem in terms of attitudes. And it also helps to seek change in us. However, as engineers, we will like to zoom into all the various aspects that contribute to floods and infrastructural problem that we have in the country. So for a start, I will start by saying all the problems we are having, we all have the solutions. I mean, the human resource we have in the country, we all could help solve the problem. So we can start addressing them by looking at other jurisdictions, what they do and what works. So in the UK situation, we have what we call the council tax system, where property tax and sanitation tax are linked to zones, or what we call in our space here, the district assemblies, the municipal and metropolitan assemblies system. So we can look at their case study and then adopt it or vary it in our country here. And for a start, looking at our current structure, we are looking at sustainability. Yes, the monthly or bi-monthly cleaning or sanitation days kind of help with the situation, but these are not long-term or sustainable solutions that we can have as countries. So we can look at the UK system and then improve it upon us. We have MMDCs, which means we have our zones. And as a country, we've had problem with property taxes. That's one. The other aspect is we also treat sanitation like ad hoc problems that individuals kind of pay for their solid waste or liquid waste to be disposed of. So we need to combine these two. That will also start by taking advantage of our database system that we have. We have a national identification system that can be linked to all properties or all people that are renting properties in the country. We can use GIS and photogrammetry systems to map out all our housing, and we can also put them in bands like the UK have. We have band A to H. We can adopt a similar system. Once we have them in bands, then we can now put the responsibility of property taxes away from the property owners into residents or people who are residing in those properties. And that will require massive investment into data. Once we have it linked, we can now decentralize. The assemblies will have the financial power and the financial structure and accountability to give us a proper working environmental or sanitation system where they can manage and collect their own sanitation within their catchment zones and the band of zones that we have, and they'll have the financial resources to manage it. So these are things that we can start looking at on the front of the sanitation. Now, we've always been highlighting as engineers in the country that our flood system is directly linked to our infrastructure planning, which means the way we build. Even that also extends to the roads that we have, because most of our roads now are even creating problems in terms of drainage. And we all can attest the Kaswa-Winneba Strait, right from the westernmost towards the Wager side. You could see whenever it rains, one side of the road goes off, and that becomes a retention pond, and then the other side, and there's vehicular traffic and uncomfortability to road users and people around this side. And this also stretches across many other aspects of our society. So we have to look at it comprehensively. The way we build our laws, we follow them to the letter. Our covering of spaces, we follow them. We follow the law, because I keep saying on every panel that I go that Ghana as a country, our fiscal planning and housing infrastructure laws we have is one of the best in Africa, if not, and we are par with the Europeans. So the question is all about enforcement and taking action to make sure the right thing is done. So these will be my preliminary comments for now with regards to the whole thing about sanitation and floods. And as we move on, we'll espouse more views on it.
I definitely will come back to you on some of the engineering solutions again that you propose, are open drains versus closed drains, and you've talked about the nature of our roads and how it is constructed as well, and what we've been doing impeding the waterways and what can be better, because you have used the Western example of how waste tax is collected, among other things, so that you can propose solutions to us from that. But I'll go now to back to the studio and speak to Braco Powers. Powers, the floods, were you affected? Let me ask that first. Or do you know anyone who was affected? People died, lost property?
Largely everybody was affected, if not directly, indirectly, because you have to use the road.
Right.
And if you ordinarily would take maybe 20 or 30 minutes to get to work, and this time around you take 1 hour, it takes you 1 hour to get to work, you are affected. So everybody is affected, and it's a major concern for every Ghanaian. But we must understand that, and as the planner expert intimated, and let me be completely frank with you, the next flooding may be caused by rubbish.
Even with today's and yesterday's cleanup.
No, the cleanup exercise is just a tip of the iceberg. Because we can't gather all the rubbish in the city just within the space of 2 days.
Okay.
It's not feasible. Let's be frank with ourselves. You think, Patiti, as you sit here, you think we'll be able to collect all the rubbish? Even when I was coming, just at Mobile, I saw rubbish on the pavement. Just Mobile. I just around GTV or GBC, Mobile. I agree, it's timely. The president's declaration is timely. Okay. We need a major, and it's timely because, first of all, we need to deal with the post-June 29th flooding, and also to address some emergency health risk. But it is not sustainable.
How about the monthly, once a month?
Has it helped? Has it helped?
Why do you think it hasn't helped?
Why do you think it has helped?
Reinforcement. That's the thing.
The thing is that in addressing this issue of flooding, it's not only about spatial planning. It also has to do with the politics aspect of the whole conversation. In fact, it is multifaceted. It's not just about spatial planning. So we are not planning our cities properly. It's not really about the fact that people or assemblies without due diligence give out or dole out permits, building permits, and that's when we do that, we have simplified the conversation. Then everybody will go and sleep.
Okay.
But the major problems are still there. If you ask Ghanaians, and Kwame was saying that, in some developing democracies, they undertake communal labor or cleanup exercises. It's okay. But is it sustainable? We must be able to drive to a point where we say that, in fact, Matiti, why do we sign sanitation contracts? Why do we sign sanitation contracts? In fact, most of the dredging will have to be done using machines, mechanized machines.
Right.
I think Ghanaians with just normal brooms and co will be able to do that.
I understand what you mean by oversimplification of the
No, the conversation is so the engineers, the one from the Ghana Institution of Engineering,
right,
is talking about the engineering aspect.
Okay.
The planners are also talking about the planning aspect. Then the politicians also have to talk about the political or the partisan aspect of the whole conversation. To the point that whenever there is flooding, this person says, "Oh, I did this, you didn't do that." This person says, "I did that." Everybody will go and sleep. Then to be between. In fact, did you see what happened in Parliament after the flooding?
Yeah.
Very bad. In fact, I felt ashamed. The MPP and the NDC were bantering in Parliament. Oh, we did this. You had 8 years. You couldn't do that. This conversation, it's been one too many. And that's why we cannot have honest conversation in this country.
Because in the mix of it, the assemblies are, overseen by ministries, among other things. And they are supposed to do the work.
The thing is that...
And they promise things for the assemblies, either side of the divide.
But the thing is, another aspect of the conversation is that the decentralization process or system is not working. It's failing us.
Lawyer Usu, I'll ask Lawyer Usu.
You see, it's failing us. And it has to do with the fact that we need to, just change the whole system, restructure the process, the system. We must be able to now talk tough and show that MMDCs are elected. There should be some point of accountability. The missing point is accountability.
We should elect the MMDCs.
No, because they are not accountable to the constituents. They feel that they are not because they are tied to the apron string of the central government.
But if the assemblies do not work, it reflects on the central government and they will not be voted for.
No, that's why we've adopted the reactive crisis management attitude. When there is crisis, you see them zoom into action because they want to please the central government. But let's get to a point where they will be accountable to the ordinary resident. Let's elect the MMDCs. Their financial ties to the central government should be cut off.
Okay.
We shouldn't be giving them, doling out money from the consolidated fund to them. They should work for their money.
Right.
Why don't they collect tax from the people?
They do. I mean, there are bottlenecks in the collection of even the taxes, we know. Revenue collection.
They must be serious because some of their own people will go and collect the tax and they will not file it. Some of their own people will go for the money, they won't file it. They can even collude with the shop owners and say, oh, instead of 1,000, pay 500. You get it? So it has to do with attitudinal problem cutting across from the central government down to the last person. Motiti. So we need to do a lot of the conversation.
Okay.
And the conversation must not be simplified.
Right.
In fact, it is not only about engineering. It's not only about planning.
Okay.
It's not only about the attitude of Ghanaians, which is a contributing factor. Whereas Ghanaians, they like dumping rubbish anyhow. But if you don't have mandatory located rubbish traps, mounted at vantage points, sometimes even to urinate,
which they will not steal.
The thing is that, Matiti, again, we are simplifying the conversation that when we mount the
rubbish,
that means they will steal them. When we mount the street lights, they will steal them. Why? Why do we employ police officers?
Okay.
Are they there for the creative purposes? Are they there to wear uniform and be moving around the cities just to put fear in drivers?
It goes back to intense
surveillance, monitoring. What are they there? Why did we buy those vehicles for them? Is it for them to worship those vehicles?
Okay. I want us to look at the commitment, the financial commitment of it too. Are you impressed about how much is dedicated to sanitation? What is the assemblies that are going to use whatever funding to work on ensuring that, our sanitation is collected and recycled, have more waste companies instead of one, among other things? Because, you see, you mentioned it has dwindled down to the aftermath, the fight over contingency fund, contingency vault, among other things.
Matiti, I have advocated that the sanitation contract in the country should be audited. Okay. Every sanitation contract, and where appropriate, revoke where necessary. Because what has been the dividend so far? I don't want to mention any companies, but all the sanitation companies, what has been their benefit to the society, to this country? What has been their benefit? Today, when you are driving, you see sand, heaps of sand gathered on the street. Street meant to be more trouble. Now, the sand themselves have become what? Ramps. The sand, this country. Matiti, I am saying that, and it bears repetition that the MMDCs or all district assemblies, municipal assemblies and metropolitan assemblies should be cut off from the consolidated fund. Let's delink them from the consolidated. They will begin to think seriously.
Okay.
Because they feel contented. They feel that after all, if I don't work, my salary will drop in. And Matiti talked about the money allocated for cleanup or sanitation exercises. Even with the few we've given them, what has been the impact? With the few. Even the Bible talks about it. If you are giving a letter and you cannot account for it, why do you ask for more? The decentralization system in this country is failing us. And it is because we fail to re-engineer it properly. I thought over the span of several years we would have, tried to, re-engineer them as we move on. But it looks like we left it the way it was birthed and initiated. We must revamp, cut all financial ties to those MMDCs. They should pay themselves.
All right.
And if they like, they should go and pay themselves 200 cedis and 100 cedis. That's their problem. You get it? But
okay.
Matiti, the national cleanup exercise is a good step. It's a good step. And as I've said, we need to commend the president for that declaration. But it's just a reactive crisis management. And it's okay. They must understand it's a reactive crisis management. Now, they have a responsibility. A duty this government has will not end until 2028. And they must discharge them. And they blame that Ghanaians are contributing factor and co, they don't clean up the environment. Let's stop those conversations. The buck stop with the president.
Okay.
Because it's because of the way we've restructured our system. So if he doesn't talk, nobody acts. Imagine at GBC, if your boss, the overall boss, does not back, nobody works. That's how government is. Some of the assemblies and metropolitan and municipal assemblies were saying, "Oh, we're working before the president directive." What were you doing?
Okay.
But when the president declared that you should go on the street within 2 days, we saw them clad in, and some even in some ministries were posting on their social media. But should we get to this space? Is this a space we must get to? Must the president say everything?
Right.
In fact, why did he appoint you? That's why I'm saying that, Matiti, the president should begin to crack the whip. Some of these things, in fact, both the MPP and NDC, they've been too lax when it comes to dismissing appointees. And that's why we are here today.
Okay.
Appointees are accused of financial malfeasance on even a mere suspicion. A mere suspicion should let you drive the person out.
Right.
Or let's say, let the person relax. So that you can investigate where it appropriate. But Kufuor did it. During, I think it did it to the former head minister. Kufuor's time.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Powers. Let me come to Ross. Ross, I know that election of MMDCs, sanitation financing, you introduced a sanitation levy, or you met it when your administration came. And then now the minority with that pressure on the contingency fund or not, which is the aftermath of the flooding. I'll give you a minute each before we move on. What is your take on this?
Let me state emphatically that we in the MPP, since they've mentioned political parties, I think the MPP has a specific plan, and I sit here as a spokesperson for local government committee, and we are actually working towards our manifesto for 2028.
Right.
I can assure you that the MPP has a holistic plan for sanitation issues in this country, and it encompasses planning, investment, enforcement, and education. And we are going to make sure that the chapter under the Constitution, Chapter 20, actually, which talks about local governance and decentralization, and Act 936 is actually there should be a symbiotic relationship between these two laws to ensure that the MMDCs actually enforce the dictates of those laws. So we in the NPP, we have no doubt at all.
How different is it going to be from what you've been doing or what you did before? Because drastic changes, as he said, elect the MMDCs.
So no, of course, even under the 2024 manifesto, we had that policy to elect. And I think even the NDC has a similar arrangement to elect these MMDCs. So, I mean, because it is a policy document we are going to bring out, I feel quite limited talking about it. But what I can assure you is that the NPP government that will be formed in 2029, led by Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. And let me seize this opportunity to greet Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, our flag bearer, and his wife, Mrs. Samira Bawumia. The government that will be formed by Dr. Bawumia is going to work very well and is going to take sanitation issues seriously in this country to ensure that the things we are seeing today will be a thing of the past. And let me, you made mention...
So, can't the NPP share the plan with the government to implement, to help the society?
Start implementing
since we are all building, trying to build a whole country.
Our policy. I mean, then what would we be talking? Once we come out, so we say, this is a policy.
That's why the other side is on the left and the other.
No. But I mean, what bring your ideas? No, of course, that is why we are all here. I'm sitting here as
because you said you will not release, you will not tease out the information. That's why I'm asking that.
I mean, who does that? Who does that? Who does that? I mean, a policy that is not yet outlawed, you won't need to sit here and speak to it.
You can share with the government to begin to implement, because after all, it's going to be.
So, for example, we've mentioned on this table, we've mentioned that Ghana is not short of sanitation laws.
Right.
You understand? It is enforcement that is the problem. You understand? So this government should work towards enforcement. We should invest in our sanitation issues. So, for example, I don't see why government will not make a deliberate effort to invest in matters of sanitation. Almost all our laws in this country, especially the laws that were passed from the 1960s, were laws we borrowed from outside, especially England. You understand? How come we are not borrowing their sanitation practices? We are okay to implement their laws in this country, but we fall short of implementing their sanitation policies. You understand? And we also talk about you mentioned the fact that people sit in the district assemblies and they behave as if they don't know the work that they are supposed to be doing to ensure that some of these practices is nipped in the bud, and it shouldn't even take the president to announce that we should undertake a national cleaning exercise before these things are done. Are we saying that we don't have these things sitting on our in our laws? So we turn around to blame politicians at the end of the day. Meanwhile, we have people that have been mandated by law.
Because this assembly, the district assembly, the DCs and the MDCs are elected by the central government. That's what
they are not elected, they are appointed
by the central government. That's what Power said, that they respond to the president in everything that they are doing. And so it's a knee-jerk reaction from them. Okay, the president is talking, so we are working.
Motiti, beyond even the government appointees, the district chief executives and the municipal chief executives, they are persons that head units within the district assembly setup. And they are responsible specifically for some of these sanitation issues. And they are just not working. And at the end of the day, we turn around to blame politicians. I can tell you on authority that when permits for buildings are being issued, a district chief executive may sit in his office and may not even know how many permits have been issued in a particular year. But you have heads of units within the district assembly setup who issue these permits. And we have people still building on waterways, people still building on Ramsar side.
They don't audit the permits that have been given out. So let's say in a year, as a boss,
the institutions must work. The institutions must work. I don't see why Motiti you here as a show of current agenda. If you don't do your work, then we want to sidestep you and go to the Minister of Information and go and blame because GBC falls under or your Director General. You understand? So we must begin to look at
the people that have been mandated by law to work, and sometimes not overlook these politicians, because if we continue to do that, Ghana will be at the receiving end at the end of the day. You understand? So these people must be made to work. You understand? In our financial dealings, the recent Auditor General's report about 5.6 billion losses in our and I mean tax collection alone is about 4.2 billion. And Powers rightly mentioned, it is not as if these monies have not been collected. You'll be surprised the kind of arrangement that has been done by these tax collectors and business owners in this country, just to shortchange government. And at the end of the day, these people will be left off the hook, and the politician will be blamed. You understand? And it happened. We are mentioning the Commissioner General of GRA. We are mentioning the Finance Minister, and they are going to be at the receiving end of all the backlash. Meanwhile, there are people that have been mandated. There are people that have been assigned. They draw salaries from government coffers every month.
So is the Public Accounts Committee not working? Because these people go and respond, I believe, to the Public Accounts Committee on where which money went, how much is accrued in a year, what budget was
Public
given.
Account Committee, I think the least said about them, the better.
Okay.
Because every year they come to tell us how much money has been siphoned from state institutions, and we see nothing happening. We actually see nothing happening. And with this 5.2 or 5.6 billion that we cannot even account for, we want to see the actions that government will take. Because if you check from the 2024 figure, this has more than quadrupled. You understand?
Okay.
And this does not inure to the benefit of anybody in this country.
Absolutely. Monies that could have gone into infrastructure work for our drains, among other things. Let me go back to engineer on Zoom. Engineer Kasavori, if you're still on Zoom, can you hear me? I would like you to give us your concluding remarks by way of the proposals that you believe would help sustain our flooding situation in the country, vis-a-vis the drains, among other things.
All right, so let's decentralize our drainage systems in the country, and then as an institution, we've always publish our policy guidelines with regards to these things. For example, let's start with our physical planning space laws. Let's reduce or try and we have systems, we suggest systems that we try and reduce the covering of our earth surfaces so that we can allow for infiltration. We should enforce our laws with regards to residences and buildings, that at least buildings should be able to retain their water that comes on their roof onto their compound for a few minutes or hours, so majority of them can filtrate into the lands that they have before it moves to the drainage system. Our road system as well, let's also start designing our roads that we have in the country as part of a drainage system line that we have. And sanitation, like I've highlighted earlier on, let's look at a more robust system, a more sustainable system, that we can put the power of sanitation into the MMDCs by building their capacity in terms of data collection, in terms of having GIS plan, in terms of infrastructure labeling, that we can get our local areas classified into groups, that we can link our property tax and sanitation tax directly to the doorstep of the district assemblies, and those taxes should be linked directly to occupants of buildings and structures in their local areas. Then we can have them supervise their waste and sanitation management plan as a district assemblies in terms of the disposable point, the treatment points, the end point, and the collection point. Then every district assemblies can be measured in terms of this success. And as we are doing these major reforms and carrying it out, biennial or periodic national sanitation days like this will also help in terms of improving our comradeness and our patriotism as a country. These are things that we should start looking out for.
Engineer Prince Kasavori is Executive Secretary of the Structural Subdivision, Ghana Institute of Engineering, sharing his thoughts with us. Mr. Bukari, I would come to you to wrap up on this particular issue with planning, because I was asking what the Institute does to support the process of siting. You mentioned that you do development planning, fiscal planning, settlement planning.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So, by the way, we've come out with, there was a press release yesterday.
Okay.
Giving out about 15 pointers, recommendations as to what we will do or what the nation should do.
Okay.
Government and institutions should do, and we should all do by way of responsibility to avert these floods. Somewhere in March this year, in GTV, I came on a public agenda program. Then I mentioned that in June, July, we are going to have floods. You did? I did. I said we are going to have floods and it's going to be devastating. People will die, properties will be lost. We will talk about it. August, mid-August, we will come back to talk about Bagri Dam spillage. First, second week in September, everybody goes to sleep, and we would come back again here June, July.
What informed this?
What informed it is because I've been in this position for the past 12 years, as secretary, as vice, and now as president. And June, July.
Is it the planning organization?
Yes,
the planning.
June, July, we are called, and then all the proposals that we come out with. One of the first proposals is to ensure that we protect the waterways. 15 years ago, I lived in Medina, and I'm now around this Abokobi, Ayimensa, or Yarifa area.
Okay.
So when you're coming from Adenta and you look uphill, that's the northeast boundary of Accra. You have those areas there. People say it's Ebru. Ebru is far beyond, but this is Peduase. So you take it from the Brekuso Hill. Yes. You move towards where the Ashasi University is. There's a town called Adankrebi. Then you move down. Westwards. Eastwards to areas around Otinibi, down Fakweman areas. These are the sources of the Odo River. 10 years, 15 years ago, when you are coming up, even at night, you don't see any light there. You see trees, you see vegetation. Now go there and see. Over the years, we sounded this warning, and people are just building anywhere and anyhow.
Nobody's listening to you.
Immediately you go up there and you start building. What that happens, and my colleague,
the engineer,
from the engineering said, immediately you do that, you clear the vegetation. So, and you put up a concrete infrastructure by way of a building or a concrete slab and all that. So percolation and seepages of water and then runoffs is reduced. So immediately it rains, everything comes down, and we don't have the needed retention ponds. The needed retention ponds to hold some of this water and then give it out slowly downstream before it gets
to the sea.
Yes. Okay. So that is another thing that we need to do. We need to also develop. We need the plans, the local plans. Every assembly, every locality must develop local plans, and it's based on those local plans that we give out permits.
How can the plans, the warnings, the alarms you sound be enforced? You don't have prosecutorial powers, right?
No. We are all.
But they are not. But they are not. So who is supposed to listen to you?
So what I would say is that we are all advocates. We are all advocates, and we know the issues. We know the issues because anytime the interior minister mentioned that about 1,500 buildings through the Garrick information that we had are on waterways, and they are being earmarked for demolition. Who built these houses? Earlier on, we would have said these are low-income communities and all that. But if you look at out of the 1,005, more than 60% or 70% are in very plush. These are the, $2 million, $3 million types of buildings, and some were issued with permits, and from where I sit, some have not also been issued with permits. So those that were issued with permits, and it's in our recommendation, those that were issued with permits, let's go through the trail, and somebody signed it.
Yes.
Which special planning committee? And by the way, the head of the special planning committee of the assembly is not the planner. Is the municipal or district chief executive.
Okay.
The buck stops with the municipal district and then the metropolitan chief executive. He sits as the head by the secretariat. the one in charge of the secretariat is the planner, and then the works engineer. They handle this. But I can tell you also on authority that some of the recommendations given by these technical groups in some cases are not ignored, adhered to. There is another one about our land tenure system.
All right. And
I would also educate Ghanaians that assemblies do not own land, but what you put the land to do, which is the land use, is determined by the assembly, by the 936 Local Governance Act. The Planning Authority is the assembly, and it is well even explained in Act 925. That's the Land Use and Spatial Planning Act. Everything is there. So what you put, you would buy a land or you lease a land, but what you use the land to do is determined by the assembly. That is why you take your drawings there and they look at it whether it conforms. If it doesn't conform, then they ask you to do the right thing. But in most cases, because a landowner has given the land out, or the chief on all those has given the land out, and the man has bought the land to put up a real estate, but that land has been earmarked for a sanitation site. That land is in a buffer zone. That land is a wetland. That land is a. You need to go ahead and make sure that you would enforce the fact that these areas have been earmarked for what they've been earmarked for, and tell the landlord or the landowner that you use the land to what has been stipulated. Now, we were saying that the buffer zone of Accra at the northeast side was these Pebiasi areas. But once we were determining that by coming out with the SDF, you didn't own the land. So what we normally say is that as we are developing the plan, government should quickly liaise with the landowners and tell them that this is the plan for this area. So keep these places, and then you would go into some kind of compensatory arrangement, so that once you give them some kind of what you call like some compensations or some token, then you are able to keep those
it
places.
as it
But at
is.
times they don't do that. So if you don't do that, the landlord or the landowner also want to dispose of for some other gains, and that becomes an issue. So we need to work out, and every developer, immediately you want to develop your structures, make sure you don't cut corners. There's also a lot of pressure from the developers. They put a lot of pressure, and they are ready to pay whatever. They need to pay. But once the issues start coming and they are demolition, you are the first person to face it. So do your business, but do it clean and then genuinely, and get the needed technical advice before you go into your infrastructure development. If not, it will break down.
We know the chain, the synergy of working together, as he said, if the alarms are sounded and the responsible parties are not acting on it, we're definitely going to be seeing this devastating floods. This is Current Agenda. We'll take a break. We're back with the show. Stay.
And stay safe. The National Petroleum Authority is cautioning the public to desist from scooping or fetching fuel from overturned fuel tankers at accident scenes. Do not get closer to the scene in an attempt to take videos or pictures. Inhaling the petroleum product is detrimental to your health. Worst of all, petroleum products are volatile and highly flammable, and a small spark can trigger a catastrophic explosion, causing deaths and loss of property. Call the Ghana Fire Service or Ghana Police personnel to handle the scene, or reach the National Petroleum Authority's contact center on 0302 550 380. Your life is worth more than a gallon of fuel. The Save a Life campaign is from the National Petroleum Authority.
From the heart of Africa we stand, building dreams across the land. Every step we did your side, helping you rise, taking you higher.
Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. Strong as a group.
strong as a group, as close as a partner.
In Ghana, football is not just a game. It is the conversation in the morning. The argument in the afternoon and the heartbeat of the evening. From Accra to Tamale, Cape Coast to Ho, we may come from different places, but when the whistle blows, we stand as one, we watch as one, we cheer as one, and when the victory comes, we win as one.
Catch the World Cup action live on GTV Sports Plus, the home of live action.
You're welcome back to the show. This is Current Agenda, proudly brought to you by NPA and Bank of Africa. This conversation's live, GTV Ghana, everywhere, website gbcghanaonline.com. I am LTT and my gentlemen at the table. Very passionate discussions across the board. We're moving to the Abutrika issue just in a bit, but I'll give them a minute each to react on that. Powers. The engineer, the planners have told us what the problem is and who is not listening to them, and that's why we're where we are.
I've said on this table that no one institution should pontificate as if their solution is the best. They should tell us that from their point of view, this is how we can also help in contributing. I want the conversation to be nuanced. I don't want the conversation to be one-sided so that somebody will feel that the ideas are superior to any other ideas. No, because I have said on this table that the solution to our problem is multifaceted. Politics, planning, engineering, and attitudinal change. So one institution. So I want us to get to a point where any of the institutions would say, from our point of view, this is how we think, which is what we want the government to do to help solve part of the problem. Okay. But to say that to solve the problem and it's purely engineering, that's further away from the truth.
All right.
So I want the conversation to be nuanced. When you do that, the politicians will begin taking you seriously.
All right.
And they feel that, because you see, one thing the politicians don't want to hear is for you to throw in your ideas as if your ideas are superior to theirs.
Okay.
But they have the political way.
Yeah, you are the technocrats, and you know it because you have learned.
So let the conversation be nuanced. In fact, in terms of communication, and Martiti, you're a journalist and a communicator. You know, we have crisis communication. Absolutely. We have words we use during crisis, and we have words we don't use.
Okay.
So there must be nuance, because you know the politicians, their egos are some way. Let them know that part of the issues, part of the problem has to do with planning, and from the planning point of view, these are the steps we want it to be taken to address them.
Right.
Part of the issue has to do with engineering. These are the steps that must be taken. Then the politician will come. Part of the issue has to do with attitudinal change, because that's how we converse.
All right.
You understand?
Yes.
So and quickly, Matiti, I've had issues. I've had. But Ross has had this 3 minutes.
Ross is helping me because
Ross have 3 minutes, and we allow him.
I appealed to you.
So, but no, you had. You did.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't said anything about that. Yes.
There has been issues of conversation about Garrett. He left right center. Garrett left right center. See, if one government started a project and could not implement certain projects, that is why you are in.
Okay.
So stop the needless talking. Now you had this money, you had that money. Well, we've had cases where you were giving money between 2012 2016 and we didn't even see the usefulness of those money. Let's not dabble in those conversations.
Okay.
Where they left it off, move on. If you have issues, audit and address them. Let's move on because government is a continuum.
Absolutely. Cotton.
In fact, I want to dwell with the
planner.
The plan. In fact, I was a student a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
In fact, the things he said, if you want to really dwell on it, to help us. I did geography as well. And the areas he's talking about, the supposed privilege in society, the supposed powerful in society, they are the one destroying those vegetative covers and putting holidays homes there in the Ebre enclave,
right,
compromising the entire security of the rest of us. So I think that we must enforce our laws. It must be binding and it must not be discriminatory. The politics has become too much, and the politics is rather creating strong men instead of creating strong institutions. If you look at Parliament is supposed to be independent, is that not it? Then Parliament passes a law binding on us. Parliament reverses the same law, and politicians or the government in power take credit for that. So does it mean that the executives are remotely controlling Parliament? No. So I think that you must also perform our duties as citizens and let the law work. Because of time, I will cede time to
thank you,
my good brother who has even stayed.
Thank you, Kwame.
Do you know why Jesus Christ picked up a cane?
Okay.
Back in the day, I'm not much of a church goer, but I know, yes.
Okay.
Why he picked up a cane in the church?
Tell us.
Auditorium. Because human beings naturally are defiant. And so if you don't pick up the cane and ship people in line, they will always misbehave. All these things that the planner is talking about are things that are known to us. It is not unbeknown. It is known to us, we know. But because we want to satisfy the demands of people who are closest to power, we forget that we know what the issues are and what the solutions are. I cite you an example, and I'll end on that example. I live in between Bosche and Ashoman Estate, right? And I do remember when I went there first, we had this land that was being used for the purposes of agriculture. So people used to plant cabbage, carrot, and all of those things. Where now they have the new DVLA. That whole enclave is wetland. Wetland.
Where a state institution is sitting on.
They built DVLA there now. They built police, some technical training, something there.
Somebody
all those
signed
places,
the permits.
all those places is there. I'm telling you.
So who signed
the laws?
Who signed off that?
Then there's the other side, where now they have this church, Makers Chapel, right? I know for a fact that place is also wetland. Because between the road from Hacho, when you are heading towards Atomic Dam, we had a river there.
So the river is gone.
Yeah, the river is gone. It's been filled up.
Wow.
And they've developed the place. I'm simply saying that people sit aloof, unconcerned, and they deliberately give these lands out for people to build. Accra is not the only place to put up a building.
We are told residents can report as well.
So that's
why you no
send a
action.
petition.
Even East Legon. East Legon, just by the motorway.
The chairman of the house.
Just by the motorway.
The chairman of the
You see
works.
the dam that Nkrumah constructed when they used to build the motorway.
Exactly.
Go and look at it. It's fill up.
Look,
the chairman of the works and housing committee.
So water cannot pass.
Once upon a time, I was with my father-in-law. We're driving through Alajo. We got to a point and he pointed. He said, "Oh, do you know there was a lake here? It's been filled up. We are using it for car wash.
Right.
They built a car wash there.
Right.
So that's the point. If we are not, the laws are not biting in. In fact, the laws are biting. But if we are not enforcing the laws, that's what will happen."
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I have to move to Abuja. Ross, you want your... Okay, so I did not think you wanted your minute. Okay.
So I think Planner Percy has really proved today and shown us that Ghana is not deficient of human resource, quality human resource.
Right.
And he was really spot on with his expositions. And I must say that he has reawakened the geography in Kwame and Kutin. Yes.
Remember now all the wetlands.
You know, his observations and presentations he has made today was making me think that this whole flooding issue is not an act of God, as the president of Ghana, made us believe, and that it is an institutional and enforcement problem. You understand?
Said it's an act
he said for him everything is an act of God. So for him, remember when the West African gas pipe thing, it was an act of God. And this is not an act of God, please, Powers. It's not an act of God. Don't say that, please. The man, with all the explanations the man has given us, they are telling us it is an act of God. It cannot be an act of God. He mentioned, he's on record to have mentioned. He mentioned it's not an engineering problem, it's not an institutional problem, it's an act of God. And he became a complainant. And Petukwati gave a very fine...
mentioning building on waterways and all of that.
He gave a very fine, so that was the attitudinal bit that he spoke about, forgetting that it was institutions that granted permits for these people to build it. And I must commend the producers of this show. Okay. Last week I was on this show. Comrade Yate was here, and he was very fine in his presentation, the NADMO official. And today we had Percy on board, and it's a very educative session for all of us. And I drove my heart out to the producer of this show.
Thank you. Well, 1 year anniversary, and that's Felix, Raymond, Kofi, and the team, and we ensure that the education matters. I always look forward to that as well, because they lay a lot of issues bare. Gentlemen, the lawyer, and talking about the Abu Tricker's issue where he's been extradited to the U.S. I'm sure you saw the news where the lawyer for him, Oliver Barker-Vormawor, said that the defense repeatedly sought to access Kumi, who is Abu Tricker, but was unable to locate him despite contacting several state institutions responsible for his custody. So they are alleging that the state denied client access before that extradition. Barker-Vormawor has been calling the Attorney General out, saying that they had no response despite the confirmation message that he had been delivered. The lawyer claimed as well that while the court had convened proceedings to determine whether the defense should be granted access to their client, Abu Tricker had already been removed for this country. Questions are how speedily we act on romance crime or technological crime, cyber crime, if that's what I can say, as compared to other issues of corruption, financial malfeasance that we see in the country, and what bearing does Oliver Barker-Vormawor and the Counsel for Abu Tricker have raising this alarm about how this case has been handled? Powers, I'm beginning with you on this.
Maltiti, this issue has been muddled in a lot of inaccuracies, and we need to distort the truth. And I've heard many say that the extradition of Freddie Kumi, aka Abu Tricker, to the US amounts to contempt of court, because there are pending proceedings before the court. But I disagree.
Okay.
Because until the pending proceedings do not stop the extradition process. Already, don't forget that on the 2nd of July, the High Court made a clear order that decision that the said young man should be extradited. So until there's a clearly set out order stopping the extradition, you can't say they shouldn't extradite him. The thing is that the lawyer was trying to work on the conscience of the Attorney General. That's okay. That's okay. If you succeeded and the Attorney General decided that we're not going to extradite him based on the pending proceedings, that's okay. But where the Attorney General acts contrary to what you require, it doesn't mean the Attorney General is wrong. Because already there's an order, a court order, 2nd July, where the court said you can extradite him.
Okay.
So if the Attorney General has acted on the order of the court, why would you say it amounts to?
He was denied access to his clients. Is that not a breach of procedural law? I mean, tell us.
The thing is that Motiti, as a lawyer, he has tools at his disposal.
Okay.
Tools he could use. You can use the court process to get access to your clients. But as to whether you will succeed is another conversation altogether.
Okay.
But is he now complaining about the attitude of the Attorney General? He's been complaining since this Attorney General was appointed. You remember I've been on this show talk about the string of Nolly Prosequa he issued when his own party members were facing various trials. And I also complained about the consistent communication of the Attorney General, prejudicial commentaries he made when he addresses persons he claimed to be suspicious or persons he plans to prosecute. Is Abu Trike's lawyer now complaining about the attitude of the
which the NDC has said that we're privileged to have an Attorney General who is, down to earth, comes to speak to the public, to understand what's happening with these critical cases. These are corruption-related cases about where Ghana's money is, among other things. And this one is even an international issue.
We are privileged to have an Attorney General who issued a significant number of Nolly Prosequa within less than 1 year. Yes, it's a privilege. Because I'm saying that for what reason? Why were those individuals facing trials? Do you think the previous Attorney General was not or did not have a legitimate concern or ground to initiate proceedings against them? And indeed, if they are not culpable, allow the court to make that pronouncement. Allow the court to make that pronouncement. You see, the thing is that sometimes it is not what you do, but how you do it. Communicate to the larger population that indeed you are not somebody who is interested in accountability. These are individuals facing various cases. There was a point you said, Dr. Kwame Aduboah, you let him take 40%, you give 60%. When in that same matter, beyond the accounting malpractices, there were cases where the Attorney General could even initiate other proceedings to take the money, and as well as bringing criminal charges against him. So beyond the criminal charges, there could be civil actions initiated against him.
Okay.
So Motiti, what I'm trying to say is that today Abu Trike's lawyer is complaining, but we've been complaining from the beginning. So we must deal with it. But unfortunately, I don't side with him. I think the Attorney General has done what he has been doing. And if he needed or if he wanted the Attorney General to have stayed the extradition process, he should have used the court process. Is the court slow? Maybe it will be slow, but we've been dealing with it. The court has been slow. Yesterday I was in court where we were seeking to inject an activity today, and the judge did up and down, tossed me up and down. Then when we came to, that was yesterday, when we were in court to move the application, the judge said, we were supposed to give the person 3 days. Even after the judge had abridged the time.
Okay.
After the judge had abridged the time, the judge went back to the CI 47 and said, we were supposed to follow this time. When she had forgotten that she had abridged the time. Then I drew attention that, you abridged the time. I said, no, still you'd have gone by it. Technically,
she's right.
But because she had abridged the time, she shouldn't reside a position. Yeah. But she did that because they are denying you justice. So the action is taking place. The activity we are seeking to inject is not taking place. Then she says, you can bring a contempt action. But why would you sit there? You are there to do justice to all manner of persons. You sit there, you allow the wrong things or the things we are seeking to injust to go on and bring contempt.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to drive at is that justice here in this country is expensive.
Aside from being slow,
yes,
it's expensive.
Yes. The courts are slow. As for that, we know. Supreme Court is marking 150 years since it was created, 1876. And I'm asking myself, is this a Supreme Court Ghanaians want?
Okay.
Matiti, is this the Supreme Court Ghanaians want?
Right.
And we must answer that question, taking into consideration the creation process, what they have done over time, and their current attitude.
All right. Thank you, Powers. 053-110-1315 is our WhatsApp number. You can see it on your screen. I've seen some messages coming. I'll read them to you, but you can send us your messages across the board on the topics that we've been speaking on. It's on your screen, our WhatsApp number. Kwame, and from what Powers is explaining, it sounds like so the Attorney General has hindsight of what he can do to have his way and have had Abutrika extradited, and not be foul of the law that they didn't allow the council to see the client.
No, I mean, if we put it that way, it means we are seeking to suggest the complicity of the Attorney General in the whole process.
Okay.
It's a legal process. One can trigger any legal provision in support or against their position. I mean, so that one, we cannot proceed on that tangent. I think it would be erroneous for anybody to make that assumption.
Right.
But having said that, it is important to posit the issues correctly. And you would agree. In fact, on my way here, I was listening to an interview that a gentleman granted to Captain Smart. And in that interview, it was quite revealing. Some very interesting positions taken by Abutrika.
Okay.
When he was released.
Yes. In that interview, there was this admission, sort of, that he had come into contact with a certain informant, which informant was placing calls to him in an attempt to get him to give him an account for some monies to be wired through that account. And that he was not being receptive. And so the informant used his friend, who is also from Cape Coast, to get to him. And then subsequently the business happened. Now he admits that the account that was the bank account that was given out for the purposes of the transfer was not in his name.
Okay.
And that the money that was wired was initially $50,000. They kept the rest, and then they gave out $13,000, which was subsequently disbursed amongst themselves. So I mean, it is quite interesting how anybody who is under some form of investigation will go and sit on a platform to make some of these pronouncements. I found it very gullible and very unintelligent for anybody to do that.
Having a council that could advise otherwise.
Could have advised otherwise. Sometimes, you see,
go the media
exactly. People sometimes, you know, in an attempt to want to defend themselves, find themselves in a befuddled position, which will even, you know, end up compounding their problems. It ends up compounding their problems and obfuscating matters. Because the truth is that if you are under any form of investigation, keep quiet and get your lawyers to work.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, you see, this whole extradition process is a legal process. The first point is that you must have committed an offense in the country that is seeking to extradite you. All right?
Right.
And that country that is seeking to extradite you must have made an application to the authorities, the local authorities, to release, because nobody can just come and kidnap you and take you to the United States. There must be a legal process that ought to be triggered. The question then becomes, was that legal process triggered? The answer is yes. Now, nobody can say that Abutrika was denied justice, because in the beginning, when they availed themselves, or when the FBI came to Ghana for the purpose of triggering the extradition process, they went to court. The court heard them. He was granted bail, you remember? He worked as a free man. Because at the time, in my respectful opinion, albeit I don't have any evidence to back it, there was no sufficient evidence in the beginning.
Okay.
Now these people went back, did their homework, came back again. And this time, they may have produced very credible evidence in support of the argument for the purposes of extraditing Abutrika to the United States of America. And which is why when they went to court on a different matter, they were able to now procure, they were successful. The court then denied the application which was made by the lawyers of Abutrika in an attempt to prevent the extradition process.
Appeals court, or
I think they went to a high court.
the high court.
All right. So that is where we are. Now look, let me tell you, now Titi, all of us here will be speaking on the sidelines of conjecture because we don't have any evidence to support whatever analysis we are going to make. But what analysis we are going to make will be based on what is publicly accessible.
Right.
And the public information that is available to us is that Abutrika was demonstrating and acting in ways which made people wonder
the source of the money.
What kind of work he does. You know, what kind of work he does. Buying, showcasing wealth on social media. A bundle of money, pouring them on his bed. Buying Cybertruck, look, driving with money in his car, money. This money will be over 2 million Ghana cedis. Over 2 million Ghana cedis.
Okay. All right.
So no, please. This is a very important issue.
Yeah,
because see, let me tell you something. I grew up in Tema. I was tempted to get into fraud. I was tempted.
Really?
Oh, I was tempted.
What
because
tempted
look,
you?
do you know what it means for a young man to have graduated from the university, sitting in the house with no job, watching people who have not even gone to school make so much money, drive Benz, and live the life that you are dreaming of? Do you know how painful that is? Because we have a system which does not reward hard work.
Right.
Because we have a system which does not recognize education. Because we have a system which is so polarized in favor of being a politician. So it is either you are a fraud boy or you are a politician. Those are the avenues that people can use to make ends meet. And that for me was what was so mouth-watering that nearly got me into the practice. But because I knew that my father was a police officer.
You'll be the first to
I
know.
had to restrain myself. The point I'm making is this, and here the reference that I make in respect of how Abutrika was demonstrating wealth all over social media is to the effect that our state institutions mandated to investigate or, for instance, audit the lifestyles of people have failed woefully. Here I mentioned FIC, Financial Intelligence, IOCO. They sat down for this guy to be showing all of these things, and they can't tell us that they didn't see it.
Until the Americans
came down, because this young boy, 31 years old, I'm not saying that they are not 31 years old guys who are not making genuine money, but we must audit the lifestyles of people. Where do they get these monies from? Martin, did you know what it means to even get $10,000 in Ghana today? Ask him, he'll tell you. The amount of work that you need to do as lawyers, the consultations that you have to do before you even get 10,000 Ghana cedis. It is not a joke. So for some of these boys to be showing wealth, opulence, so brazenly, without regard to anybody, let's watch the result. And look, it questions the integrity of our state institutions. It questions the integrity of financial institutions.
You mean like banks, where he took the money from?
These monies, they come through the bank. Are they saying
they didn't trace
that they didn't trace the money? FIC, whatever, look, when you are going to even withdraw your own money, and it's $10,000, you will get they will send you a message. So are they saying that the banks, the financial institutions that allowed all these monies to go through their banks, they cannot question them? That people are not complicit?
Right.
In concluding,
conclude for me.
Let me admonish our young people in this country. I can understand. The frustration is real. The challenges are palpable. All of us are reeling under the lack of proper direction. It is very difficult for all of us. It's not easy. But please, they must be measured.
Yeah.
They must be measured.
Thank you, Kwame.
Thank you very much.
Ross, that's this, as Kwame has said, show of wealth, opulence, all of that. That's this weaken the case for Abutrika's lawyers. And now that's gone international, how is the approach going to be? That's what we're going to do.
As a lawyer and a practicing lawyer for that matter, I'll be the last person to predict what the outcome of a case of this nature will be. But let me mention that what I have seen so far with the process is well within the law, especially when we have an Extradition Act, Act 22, which was enacted in 1960. Unless, of course, the lawyers for Abu Trika could point to specific illegalities that were perpetrated on their clients before he was extradited. And I'm sure his lawyer, Vika Vomawo, is a very close person to this current administration, and I know he's a personal friend to the Deputy Attorney General as well. So he would have been in a better position to actually use the court processes to actually prevent any illegality from being perpetrated on his client. But for purposes of contest, because this is a legal matter, and I hold the position that whatever act that has taken place is well within the law. Let me quote section 29 of the act, and this is the Extradition Act 22, Act 22.
Right.
It's section 29 says extradition crimes. So it says in this act, extradition crime means a crime which, if committed within the jurisdiction of Ghana, would be an indictable offense described in the first schedule of this act. When you actually go to the first schedule of the act, the crime for which Abu Trika is being accused of is one of fraud, defrauding by false pretense. I mean fraud and conspiracy to defraud. And it's one of the crimes that is listed under the first schedule.
Right.
And also the reason why I am saying that I feel everything that has happened in terms of extradition is legal is when you look at the definition section 30 of the act, a fugitive criminal means a person accused of, so a person accused or convicted. So all you need to be seen as a fugitive criminal is to be accused of a crime or convicted of an extradition crime committed within the jurisdiction of any other country who is in or is suspected of being in Ghana. So if you commit a crime in another country and you are suspected to be in Ghana or you find yourself within the jurisdiction of Ghana, then this act and these provisions can actually be triggered for you to be extradited to that country to face prosecution. But coming to the non-legal aspect of this matter, I think I side largely with what Kwame said. When I saw the videos and footages of his interview with Captain Smart, I was taken aback. That this guy consult his lawyer before going on that show to grant that interview, because he was virtually shooting himself in the foot. And now, in fact, I even heard somebody saying, and with all apologies and deference to Captain Smart, somebody was saying that the FBI hired Captain Smart to conduct that interview just to get evidence to nail Abu Trika. Because the guy was just speaking like that, as if he was possessed. And I was surprised that
wasn't the only media appearance. He's been to other media houses.
Oh, wow.
And it is very dangerous for his case as it stands now. Even though I will not be able to predict the outcome of the case, it's very, very dangerous. You understand? And if you're a lawyer and you find yourself in such a situation,
with your client conducting themselves this way,
you need a third eye of the law to be able to defend this situation. And also, we've just seen footages of monies that has been brandished in cars, and the guy is walking out. This is an eyesore. And you see, this guy is buying pressure for the young people of this country. And if you don't take time, a lot of people will be engaging in these acts, and will have the active human resource of this country being wasted away because of what they are doing. At the age of 31, he has posted, and Kwame rightly mentioned, to lawyers to be even a lawyer and practice in this country, to even set eyes on such an amount of money, is very, very rare. You are not likely to see an amount of money like this.
So there are not real estate owners in this country who can count money like
Putin
this in the back of their car.
Putin may be able to speak
There are no mining owners.
Nobody have practical
money. Unless you are in the league of
Ibrahim Mohammed has been arrested. He was arrested in Morocco.
And I mean, to make my final comments on these matters, I think the guy has simply not helped himself. And this is a serious warning to the young people of this country, because I know he's not alone. There are so many other
young men who are engaged in these acts, these practices. And I think now the law is catching up on them, and they have to be very careful.
Okay, Cotton. I'll come to you. The security.
The lawyers have spoken. I will speak on the security. You remember when they arrested Hush Puppy in Dubai?
Absolutely. That famous.
In fact, case. I don't know what is wrong with these boys. They don't learn opulence. They want to show you go and do romance scam and make too much money, and you want to give everybody pressure. You see, people see this kind of money special. You
Cybertrucks too.
Wow.
Lamborghini, Urus. The most expensive of the Lamborghinis.
Pressure.
Pressure. I was telling when you see lawyers wear suits and neatly shaped, and you feel, Ross in suit and this guy, you feel, Ross is making money.
Yeah, no.
You don't, he's double thinking.
People make money. You make
and it's
money.
Genuine, and it's genuine money.
Genuinely earned.
Let's go to the security.
You make money. So let's go to the security. In fact, you see, unknown to these boys, FBI has an office at most embassies where they suspect there are these kind of crimes. So if you look at Yoko under COP Mamitiwa, there were a lot of collaborations. They started with the cars.
Okay.
And big boys who were otherwise stealing cars from Canada and other places.
I remember, yeah.
A lot of those cars were confiscated to Yoko.
Some of them are there.
And a lot of other people went to hide their owns. You realize that these days you don't get the sophisticated cars on the streets. FBI is now collaborating with our security agencies.
Okay.
Before the car will depart, if it gets here, they will arrest it at the port.
Right.
So they have put deterrence, and you see that it has fallen considerably.
Okay.
Now, with the romance campaign, these fraudsters are not alone. They are facilitators. And I dare say that there is no any single transaction of that magnitude that will go will pass through without the eagle eyes of the Bank of Ghana. And from the Bank of Ghana, it comes to the person's bank. So we cannot be talking about these people without the facilitators. Otherwise, we are not even solving the problem. So our investigative agencies must also be interested how the money was received in Ghana and the people who approve the facilitation of those monies. Until we do that, we'll just be scratching the surface of the issues. And I must warn fraud boys in Ghana. Look, the time these things used to happen is gone. We are now in a global village. You may think that you are scamming an old lady, you may be talking to an undercover agent.
Right.
And that is what they have done. And look, the United States of America has invested so much money to deter this type of crime because the rippling effect on their citizens is just too much.
It's been happening for
especially
long.
pensioners who have come out to enjoy their retirement
benefits.
Then you go and scam and take these monies away. Some of them even commit suicide. And look at the people they have picked in Ghana. A lot of them have, all of them, not a single one, and they have plea bargains.
Yeah.
So Abutrika's lawyer has simply not helped him. Because these people never come after you if they don't have some kind of evidence that can convict you. Because they don't just waste their taxpayers' money like that. Now that you have stretched them and you are now over there, the truth of the matter, they may not even take plea bargain from you. They'll make you serve your time so that to serve as deterrent. Look, Hajia went, took plea bargain.
Hajia for real.
For real. And she's back in Ghana. And she's a socialite. She's still on media spaces. People invite her for events. How can this person be a role model to our youth? We are simply telling our youth that it is okay to go and commit crime. And when you go and you plead whatever, and you serve your time and you can come and live your life normally.
Okay.
It should never be accepted. Now, on a lighter note, look, we have been yearning to get US visas. Trump said he won't give us. In his case, free visa, free ticket. And you know what?
A convict? A convict?
But listen, the musician Jomna, when he was convicted in the UK for drug-related offense, when he came back, what did he say? He said that the conditions in the prisons are very excellent. He went to school.
Oh.
Their prisons are structured to reform people to be useful citizens and not to punish.
Reform you after you've stolen money?
Of course.
Stop stealing money.
They, look, God that we all serve is a God of a second chance. He can be given that second opportunity. That speaks to our prison system here. Our prisons services or prisons across the country, if you go and have an eye look at it, it looks like an eyesore, like a death sentence. We should restructure our prisons, make them constructive enough such that when you commit crime and you go there, you can come out a reformed person and be useful to the country.
And let me ask, I know the lawyers at the table, was there any chance that he could have served the sentence in Ghana? Is there anything like that in our books? Half here, half there.
Let me mention something. I think you mentioned plea bargain in your submission. I'm not too sure in my mind if these were matters, the Abu Trika matters were matters that he could have entered into plea bargain, because it wasn't the Attorney General of Ghana that was pressing charges against him. This was a request from a foreign government.
No, I mean the US.
The US. But have you seen the plea bargain act of the US? You need to see. There was an arrangement like that.
Yes.
Okay.
But we don't know the content of it. Even both and go to flip again. They confess and they were given institutions. They will pay back the money. You understand?
Was to give information who?
Oh, but
we must understand that. We must understand that. The thing is that you have to give them what they want, the intelligence they need. Then they can decide whether to reduce the punishment or the aspect of the punishment.
Verify the intelligence and make sure they are actionable.
I'm sure that window is not closed on him yet, because they are now going to take him through that process.
What if he is actually the big
the
fish?
mastermind?
And the way he even fought.
So you ask why can't he serve the jail time here? But the thing is that who initiated the process?
It's the Americans. So why should be?
Kwame a while ago was lamenting about the ineffectiveness of our institutions. If they had initiated the process, the US will have no qualms and say, okay, you let the process go. They will even bring documents to help you win your case.
And they'll be okay that he serves his time in
No, they have no problem.
All the money.
Yes, is that because we didn't show any seriousness in tackling the issue.
They
have initiated the process.
All right.
Then,
but I'm sure Titi's question is quite valid, and I think I hold an opinion that once the process is done in the US, he can actually be brought back to Ghana to serve his time in Ghana. I mean, whichever way.
No, that's in the US, but they won't
minded, exactly.
Okay.
They won't allow. Exactly.
So there's the possibility of that if they allow, if the people who trigger them.
I'm not sure our Ghana will even be interested in that.
Why not? Our prison's not harsher.
But you see, parents as well. Parents as well. When we are home and our children bring luxury goods home, we have to question. We don't question it now. And this is getting the critical youth of this country into this thing. A time will come, Martiti, we will have our youth in our universities, and in the long term to affect our human resource capacity in building this country.
Right,
everybody wants shortcuts
citizenship
to make money.
Expatriates coming back.
I understand that the reason why countries initiate an extradition process is because they have no confidence in the other country.
So that is also
one of the objectives, one of the reasons. They feel that you had the opportunity, a fine opportunity to have arrested this gentleman. And as we have intimated, look at the showboating.
He's fighting.
It's on media, social media, everywhere. When you go online, you just go to Facebook and just type up. You see all these videos.
Money's there.
Okay.
And our Yokos, FICs, and co were all there. For the US to initiate the conversation. Then
I saw this video.
Then you zoom in and say, "Oh, release him to us. We will prosecute him."
No,
prosecute him
they
for
won't do it.
For where?
So it goes to talk about our Cybercrime Act and all the issues and the surveillance and the monitoring of our social media networks. What does Titi post on her social media
it doesn't
versus what does Powers post on his social media as a lawyer?
We have the finals. In fact, we have borrowed a lot of laws from other jurisdictions. But the implementation
is the issue. Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. Let me read some messages just before we swiftly dive into the HIV and AIDS issue of our recruits. Good morning, Maltiti. This is Professor Prince inside Bobriasi Adanse in the Adanse North District. It's not the first time in this country organizing such exercise, and I'm sure it's referring to the cleaning exercise. The most important thing is that aftermath of this exercise, what we'll continue to do to make sure our various environments are kept clean is the most important thing. Else the cleaning exercise will be in vain, as it has always been. So he says we are stuck in the past, and he's greeting Municipal Chief Executive of Obuasi, Honorable Fostilav Apia Kenin. Good morning. I think the problem of waste in the country is enormous, and to completely curbing the issue of waste in our drains is to be banned the production of plastic bags in the country. And yes, styrofoam will be banned in 2027. The takeaway packs, that's one step government is putting in place. He says, how did Paul Kagame in Rwanda do it? I think this town council has to come back and the law for sanitation be used to deter people from littering. Thank you, Nagba from Camp. Thank you. Government should try and establish waste facilities in selected regional capitals, making it a facility or a factory to recycle the refuse which citizens produce, at the same time reducing unemployment, because government will sell the product. From Chief K in Asamankese. Well, that's true. In other countries, you take your plastic waste and you are given some coins or some money back. Good morning. Cleaning up after the flood is necessary, but let's be honest, it shouldn't take a national disaster or presidential directive before Ghanaians remember that sanitation matters. It's quite a lengthy one. So he says that we need a clear national sanitation strategy backed by proper infrastructure, strict enforcement, and regular public education. Nana Kwame Mafo from Wager. Good morning to you, all your viewers. To help solve the sanitation challenges, environmental health officers has to be well-resourced and well-equipped. Mr. Saibu Isa, environmental health analyst, sending us that message. Thank you. Hello, please, I love your discussion. Parliament should go on and pass the bill. Dr. Keshel, please kindly help me reach out to Emmanuel Cotton. I lost his contact in 2016. Rebecca Lashibi Cotton, this message is for you, and I'm sure my producers will forward it to you. Gentlemen, we'll wrap up on the recruits. So talking about employment, over 1,300 security service applicants tested positive for HIV. We had the Interior Minister reveal this when he was asked at the committee the reasons for disqualification of some of these recruits who we saw go in the scorching sun to queue to get... Okay, so let's keep it brief on the HIV and then do the citizenship. Ross?
I think on this HIV and the recruits, I saw a news item before the Interior Minister came out on this. I think at that time it was 1,300 or 1,600, and I think I saw another news item by the same Interior Minister who said that is not correct.
Oh, okay.
I stand to be corrected, but before this current one, there was another news, but I mean, it's horrifying to hear that about 1,000 of our compatriots are infected with HIV/AIDS, and they are all walking around, and we only got to know this when they actually attempted to get into our security services. It's really serious, and I think the education must be intensified. I think there is a commission, AIDS commission. Yes, I think we need to do a lot of sensitization on this whole thing, because at a point I felt it went down, and now it seems it's coming up again. And I think we need to. Their
fundings have been cut. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, so government needs to fund them. Government needs to fund them. Donor agencies need to come on board to actually control this situation, because it is really bad. If that is the case, it's really, really bad.
Cotton.
This issue, there are a lot of factors. They're kind of multifaceted.
Okay. I'll need you to hold your fire. I'm told that you have live pictures of the president at the day 2 of the cleaning exercise happening right now. And I'll come back to the studio so that I get your concluding remarks. And that's the president in your shot. This is actually the local government minister.
A report to be brought. Thank you for your distinguished and excellent leadership. Enyaminti.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want all of us to remember that today is day 2 of the national cleaning exercise. Yesterday the turnout was fantastic, very good. People came out and helped to clean their neighborhoods. Today the turnout is also good, but I'm just calling on those who are still in the houses and haven't come out. Please come out and come and join us so that we clean the city after the flood. Yesterday, one of the directives I gave was that in the past we do these cleanups, we take all the garbage out of the gutters, but we don't follow up and come and collect the garbage that is by the roadside. And so when the rain falls, it just washes all the dirt back in. And so today we're going to concentrate on scooping all that garbage we took out of the gutters into these big trucks that you see there, so that they'll take them to the dump sites and go and dump them. But we know that if you look at the city and all the garbage we've taken out, we cannot do it in one day. So we'll all help to do it today, but tomorrow the army and the other agencies will continue until we're able to clear all the garbage that was taken out of the drains. We've had 6 transfer stations that were built more than 9 years ago. Unfortunately, they were not put into operation. So we've asked the contractor to open the transfer stations, that's Zoomlion, so that the Aboboyas and others can take the garbage to the transfer stations. They don't need to go all the way to Amasama and to the Irikops. If they dump at the transfer stations, we use these big trucks and load the garbage and take them to the Irikops. And so all the Aboboyas that are taking part in this exercise, you don't need to go to Amasama. Go to the nearest transfer station. If you ask, they'll show you where it is, and then you can go and dump your garbage there. So I want to thank everybody who's come out, and those who are still at home, all of you come out. We are doing this together. And Ghana is a resilient country, Accra is a resilient city, and we'll bounce back better than before. Thank you.
And Ghana is a resilient country. We bounce back. That's President John Dramani Mahama with his entourage in the city looking at the second day of the cleanup exercise. And we're bringing you live pictures as the day unfolds. Back in the studio, Emmanuel Cotton was on the point on the HIV and AIDS of recruits for security forces.
I'm glad I'm watching the president on the day 2 of the cleaning exercise.
As you mentioned that your
the
recommendations...
president is still not in PPE. It doesn't send a good signal. Good intentions, but implementation is always a problem. And that's what we have faced as a country. We are in a vicious cycle. We have beautiful laws, beautiful policies, very well-intentioned national exercise. The leader of the country is not in PPE. So what do you want we the citizens to do? We should go and clean out and come home sick? Not good. So okay. With the HIV thing, in fact, I said it's a multifaceted issue. If you look at...
Okay, now he's wearing gloves, Cotton. I think that your recommendations have been heard. Today he's wearing gloves.
I've not seen it. Yeah, he's wearing gloves now, yes.
He's wearing gloves. And
thank you, Mr. President.
And he's wearing a boot as well.
He's wearing the boot too.
Yes. Today he's wearing the gloves.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. He listened. Yes.
He listened. He's wearing the boots and the gloves.
Then I crawl back my words.
Yes.
As a gentleman, you know, I'm taking back my words respectfully. This is what we wanted to see him do yesterday. Being a protective apparel and stuff like that will help everybody.
So he's wearing protective boots, and then he's using his hand because now he's in the gloves.
Exactly.
You mentioned.
Oh, yes.
Yesterday. And so his handlers or himself...
He's just behaving like Rollins. This is what Rollins used to do in his days. When he gets into the gutter and wants to clean, for others to see that if I'm the leader of the country, I'm cleaning, how dare you?
Absolutely.
So this is a good example. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right.
So with the HIV case, a multifaceted issue. If you look at the country today, my brothers, go round Accra, you won't pass any spot or joint, you won't see prostitutes on our streets. Both nationals and those who are coming from other neighboring countries. The issue has to do with what? Economic issue. That's what most of them say. And you see, some can come and stand there the whole day, they will not get anybody. So at the end of the day, even when I was coming in front of my office around the Lagos Avenue, at 7-something, some were still standing there in the morning.
These recruits are unemployed. You mean they have money to afford prostitutes?
The recruits, do you know their backgrounds? We have both male and females.
Okay.
And I dare tell you that most of the girls who are engaged on our street are university students.
Ghanaians and non-Ghanaians alike.
Ghanaians and non-Ghanaians alike. So we as a country must be intentional to address economic situation and give opportunities to our youth so that they can get livelihood. I'm not saying that can be the panacea to stop prostitution. No, prostitution is as old as Adam, you know, even in the Bible. But with the alarming rate, the Laboratory Technicians Association have come out to counter what the Interior Minister put across.
Okay.
That those tests have not been confirmed.
Okay.
That brings some sort of relief to some of us. If among these few recruits, 1,300 were disqualified because of their HIV status, that would have been so alarming. Yeah, they were disqualified. If you look at
based on HIV status.
you look at the Security Act, it's clear. People were looking at human rights angle and co. For our security institutions, we are there are rules guiding how they do their stuff. You understand? Even the former defense minister came out to declare that yes, if you are HIV positive, you can serve in our security. They have served 8 years and have lived it. They know what it is, and we have also cross-checked and looked at the relevant security acts.
All right.
But the comfort is that the government should go back, confirm these results, and next time they are giving this kind of information out, they should make sure they are confirmed results, because this creates unnecessary panic in the system.
Thank you. Kwame.
All right, the figures are alarming, but the decision to, if you like, decline them entry into the security agencies by reason of their status, for me, is one that is quite troubling. Because there are people who are born with it. If I say born with it, I happened to be the president of HIV/AIDS Awareness Club when I was in senior secondary school. So I've come into close contact with people who at the time were living with HIV, who were very healthy and even very strong.
Born with it.
There are people who are born with it because maybe their parents had it and then they transferred, etc. So it is through no fault of theirs that they had HIV and AIDS. And I dare say that the numbers that we are putting out, perhaps maybe about 40% may have gotten the disease not because they engaged in promiscuity, but because maybe they were born with it. Now, to deny such people who want to offer themselves to serve or in service of the country, for me, is quite retrogressive.
But the denial doesn't say they are denied based on investigations of how you contracted HIV.
Why did they?
But because of the condition.
Yes, that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that it is retrogressive. It is. Please. We are all citizens of Ghana. We are all equal before the law. We must all be given equal opportunities.
But you must be healthy enough to be a
But
soldier.
who says an HIV/AIDS patient is not healthy?
So on what grounds then?
Because you see, there are people who are walking about who may physically they may demonstrate some strength.
All right.
But they may be sick. I am saying that it's moribund. We must do away with some of these primitive laws which are not helping anybody.
Okay.
People applied because the application was open. When they were applied, did they say that people who are with HIV should not come? Should not apply? What are you talking about?
Yes.
You have opened and you are saying that you are denying them because did you put it in there? So this is moribund. We must do away with some of these things. And plus, let me tell you something. There are plenty people who are living with HIV and AIDS. They don't even, for all you know, there are people in United States who have HIV and AIDS. How do you know? How do you know? So we must stop this.
If there are routine checks to verify that.
No, you see, and it's wrong.
To even do routine checks on.
No, to even conduct HIV and AIDS tests without their knowledge.
Okay.
That's even an offense.
You must tell them.
You must tell them that you are conducting HIV.
And if you say that as a lawyer,
no. At the medical level, I know for a fact that they are taking your blood, they are checking all of that, and you sign to it.
Okay. So there's a form where the HIV is written.
No.
And other things. It's part of the process.
Okay.
They did not come down without their knowledge.
All right. Okay.
But
if they did, Kwame, you say they have a case which a lawyer can represent them
because
to take on.
I know.
They can do.
Well, I know. Because my father was a police officer, that those medicals that they run, initially, HIV and AIDS wasn't part of it. It was to check basic vitals. That was it.
Have you seen the form?
That was it.
Have you seen the
It
form?
was to check.
But I don't have it here.
So do they include it? The check that they want to do, do they add HIV, hepatitis B, blah, blah, blah? Do they add all of those things?
All right.
Please,
Okay,
let's
Kwame,
not
thank
do
you,
this.
Powers, please. Very briefly.
Quickly. I think the disclosure, the intent, the disclosure of the information may not be, you cannot fault the intent behind the disclosure, but I think it was not graceful. And as Kutin said, it is a sharing of premature data when there hasn't been confirmatory results from lab technicians and other things. Because even where you conclude that one person is HIV positive, HIV is positive, you would note that one test is not sufficient to grant conclusion, because most of these test labs usually they are 40
sometimes.
You understand? So for a whole minister to come out and say 1,300, I think the intent may not be wrong, but the disclosure was not done gracefully.
Okay.
Sometimes you need to apply the graceful and wisdom when it comes to leadership.
All right.
You have to know, because the thing is that he has created panic. And now people are you know what that will do, because he didn't mention the names. Though everyone who was rejected, may be thinking. And you know what that is also causing? Like Kutin said, if you know a relative who applied and was not accepted, you may be thinking, is it part of the 1,300 people? You know, so we must begin. The thing is that sometimes it's not everything you must see. You see, it's not everything you must see.
Even if you are because you see the politics of it.
No,
you said
because Matiti, when you look at the condition or the situation under which he made the commentary, he could have answered the question without even disclosing that. You could have answered the question.
Okay. Maybe have health conditions.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Because we want to be able to talk about the Council of State, and we have just a few minutes to go. Ross, what do you make of the bill that seeks to allow for dual citizens?
I think regarding the dual citizenship thing, see, our members of parliament, with all due respect, Ghana is confronted with a lot of issues that requires parliamentary attention, and this dual citizenship issue is not one of them.
I understand. It's not one of them at all. And that is my respectful opinion. It's my respectful, it's my personal opinion. This cannot be the position of the party.
Okay.
But the party has not issued a position on this matter.
Okay.
You see, we have a lot of problems confronting us.
Right.
And I feel that this dual citizenship thing is needless. Needless, especially when I heard, I think yesterday or so, because I tried to do the inquiries, that who sponsored the bill. And I'm told that it is 4 MPs, 2 on the minority side, 2 on the majority side. And I'm so disappointed. And this is a personal thing. I'm not speaking on the party position. Because the constitution of this country is very, very clear. Article 8.2 is very clear on the positions that dual citizens cannot occupy. You understand? And in fact, there is a Supreme Court decision, Asari versus Attorney General, in 2012, where the Supreme Court affirmed the position of the Constitution. So the constitutionality of Article 8.2 is not in doubt. And I don't know what benefit this whole conversation is going to give this country. Okay. Yet we have members of parliament who have taken the step to actually sponsor such a bill. And I totally agree. In fact, I am on record to have disagreed with the Council of State when it comes to the removal of the Chief Justice, right. Tokonu. Yeah. But on this one, the Council of State was spot on the advice they have given members, the Speaker of Parliament. And it is very important that they heed to that advice and throw this bill somewhere.
Thank you, Ross.
On this note, I mean, as part of my conclusion, I mean, today, MPP, we are electing our constituency executives. I would like to wish all the aspirants very well, and I pray that they conduct themselves in a very civil manner to ensure that we come out victorious, just as we did on 31st January.
Absolutely. Continue.
But as an organization, we had a policy stand and we released a press statement here.
On the dual citizenship?
Yes, and we have circulated it. I think your producers have one just because of time. You see, the framers were concerned with what? Allegiance. And allegiance is tested by what? Conduct and not by passport. If you recall, 1992 Constitution even bar it all together. But it was amended in 1996. We are in a progressive society. We must progress in that, you know. Look, let us don't forget the former Boku MP, Sakandi.
Okay.
He died precisely because of some of this thing. The Chache Kwasin thing, look at how we went about it. At the end of the day, he went and it is not, look, my brother, look, it is not strategic and it is not principled to want contribution of diasporans. And you know, last year alone, they contributed $7.8 billion. That helped in our micro stability situation here, and to some extent the welfare of some household.
Okay.
Then you deny them to come and participate in national
remittances.
The remittances. Wait. We are the continent. Look, listen. The Constitution is progressive. We are of the view that it should be graduated. It should be graduated.
Okay, Cotton. Thank you. We'll look at the statement. Powers, you and Kwame have to wrap up. Yes.
For me, this issue of dual citizenship is not really an important conversation. Why? Because it appears we feel that even those here, those who hold allegiance to only one country, are only Ghana, are not even giving us what we want.
The expertise of what they have done over there.
The thing is chief.
The IT people, welcome.
Please.
So, but the thing is, don't forget that already dual citizens have access to can occupy certain key positions.
Okay.
In this country already. Yes. And Kuti, you made reference to the constitutional amendment. This is the constitution.
All right.
Already they are entitled to some positions. What these people are seeking to do is to expand it.
Expand it.
They are seeking to expand the number of positions they can occupy. But we must be careful. Even US and UK, where dual citizens can get some top jobs, there are certain key areas they don't allow them to be there.
Okay.
We must be careful. I agree with you that we are taking their money, but if we are taking their money, must we give them everything?
No, okay. Thank you, Powers. Kwame, remittance, yes, in terms of billions. Kwame.
Listen, my position is on all fours. With the two positions taken by my two learned brothers. It's very simple. If you claim you are a Ghanaian,